Chapter 1257. Yi Tianyun's sudden attack gave them all a fright. Two of the Divine Lord Evil Spirit Race S were so frightened that they stopped their attacks and looked at him coldly, their eyes filled with vigilance. Although they did not pay attention to their surroundings, they would at least pay attention to their surroundings. Who would have thought that a person would come in so coldly, giving them a huge fright? This meant that the other party either had an extremely good concealment ability or was terrifyingly heaven-defying, surpassing their cultivation. However, when they took a closer look at Yi Tianyun and felt that the great aura was only that of a Lord of Heaven, they immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he sneered, "A human actually dares to trespass into our territory, kill him for me." This evil spirit race general could not be bothered to waste words with Yi Tianyun, and immediately signaled his subordinates to cut Yi Tianyun into 8 pieces. From their point of view, Yi Tianyun only had the cultivation of a Lord of Heaven, so it would be a waste of time to let his subordinates deal with him. "Yes, sir." Immediately after, the surrounding evil spirit race S quickly pounced towards Yi Tianyun. 3 Lord of Heaven S rushed over at once, and each of the Lord of Heaven S cultivation was at the 6th or 7th level. In their opinion, dealing with Yi Tianyun was more than enough. After giving the order, they continued to want to destroy the planet, and could not be bothered with Yi Tianyun at all. Who would have thought that just as they were about to continue destroying, a cold light would flash from the side. Bang, bang, bang. 3 bloody mists would explode in the air. When they pulled their gazes back, they discovered that the 3 Lord of Heaven had already turned into a ball of bloody mist at some point in time. They could not be any more dead. "Do you need my help?" Yi Tianyun still had a faint smile on his face, and he was still in the void, no different from before. The pupils of the 2 evil spirit race generals shrank. To be able to silently kill all the enemies in front of them meant that Yi Tianyun's strength was already above theirs. However, they could sense that Yi Tianyun only had the cultivation of the Lord of Heaven. Could he be hiding his cultivation? "Human, what are you trying to do?" One of the evil spirit divine generals glared at him. "This is our evil spirit race's territory, don't you dare act presumptuously here." Even so, they would not choose to lower their heads and fear. As existences who had led their subordinates to conquer the world, they were naturally fearless. Even if they were to die, they would not be afraid. It was impossible for them to lower their heads to a human. Even if they had to die, they would never choose to lower their heads. "I'm just asking if you need help. I don't mean anything else." Yi Tianyun smilingly took out his starlight divine spear and threw it at the evil spirit divine general. A silver river streaked across the sky. The speed was simply too fast, so fast that it was hard to believe. The 2 divine generals were horrified and hurriedly raised their weapons to block. But everything happened too fast, so fast that they couldn't see it. Poochie, the starry divine spear pierced through the body of an evil spirit divine general. The instant the evil spirit divine general felt a stabbing pain and wanted to say something, the starry divine spear suddenly rotated rapidly. Under this rapid rotation, the hard body directly exploded. Ding! Successfully killed evil spirit divine general, 4th level divine monarch. Reward, 120 compressed EXP, 37 compressed crazy point, 50 SPS. Evil spirit divine general, 4th level god monarch, evil spirit blood, evil spirit bone. Evil spirit divine sword, low grade heavenly Tao grade, evil spirit armor, low grade heavenly Tao grade. A lot of things dropped. The benefits of killing the divine monarch expert is not bad, all of them are heavenly Tao grade treasures. The key is that it was easy to kill the evil spirit race, it was like eating and drinking water. This is the benefit of improving one's cultivation. After improving in all aspects, killing evil spirit race is like drinking water. Especially the Phoenix Bloodline's effect of bursting hundreds of times the speed, on the basis of the original Lord of Heaven, bursting hundreds of times the speed, one can imagine how terrifying the speed is. But the effect will rapidly decrease as one's cultivation increases. The Phoenix Bloodline is not invincible, it can't really maintain hundreds of times the speed. If it really can, then it is absolutely heaven-defying. For example, the Dragon God Bloodline can provide 100 times the power. At the Earth Monarch level, it can still be used, but when one reaches the level of Lord of Heaven, it will drop to 20 times or even 10 times. This is the power of the bloodline. When one can't keep up with the cultivation, the power will naturally be reduced. Even so, the power is still strong, at least it can be increased by several times. This power, you are not the Lord of Heaven. When the evil spirit divine general saw his companion killed, his heart suddenly sank. He knew that he can't deal with Yi Tianyun. Is it important whether I am the Lord of Heaven or not? Yi Tianyun looked at them with a smile and said, I am simply here to help you, no other intentions. Then help me destroy the planets, I will give you a reward. The evil spirit divine general said solemnly. Not helping. Yi Tianyun smiled. Didn't you say that you will help us? Why won't you? The evil spirit divine general was furious. He actually went back on his words. I said that I will help you, not to help you do things, but to help you go to hell, understand? Yi Tianyun grinned again. To them, he is so terrifying, even more demonic than them. Don't be reckless. We are from the evil spirit race. Even if your cultivation is powerful, once our domain lord finds out, your human race will be exterminated. The evil spirit divine general immediately started threatening. Even facing such a powerful enemy, he is still not willing to compromise. Exterminated? Yi Tianyun still maintained his smile. Don't worry, even if my race is exterminated, I will kill as many of you as I can. It is better than being enslaved by you. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned into a silver river and swept over. The evil spirit divine general shouted, quickly waving the long sword in his hand. A dozen arms grew out from his back, waving all sorts of weapons. Looking over, the soaring black gas was like a demon god. But no matter how strong a demon god is, in front of Yi Tianyun, it is like a piece of paper. A silver river swept over, completely illuminating the darkness, turning it into nothingness. This time, Yi Tianyun did not stop, continuing to sweep in all directions. The long silver river swept in all directions. The groups of evil spirit race did not even have the chance to scream. They were completely purified by this silver river, turning into cosmic dust. Ding, successfully killed evil spirit divine general, God Monarch level 5, obtained. Ding, successfully killed evil spirit divine general, Lord of Heaven level 7, obtained. Ding, successfully killed evil spirit divine general, Lord of Heaven level 5, obtained. This silver river is like the Grim Reaper's scythe, harvesting all the evil spirit race. No one can escape. Chapter 1258. Under Yi Tianyun's tyrannical sweep, all the evil spirit races here were quickly killed by him, turning into nothingness. Not even a speck of them remained. Of course, he still took all their belongings. Especially the storage rings of the Divine Lord and the Lord of Heaven. There would definitely be a lot of good things inside. The evil spirit race was more selfish, so they would have a lot of things in their storage rings and would not choose to give them away. They would rather keep them in their storage rings and rot than give them away. Because of this, when Yi Tianyun opened the storage ring, he was shocked by the things inside. That ring belonged to the Lord of Heaven, but he discovered that even the things that could be used by the Star Lord were still inside. The evil spirit race had always kept these things, unwilling to give them away or sell them even if they died. It was fine if they didn't sell them, but they could at least give them to their companions, right? However, they wouldn't give them away at all. Instead, they kept them by their side and didn't want to give them to others no matter what. He had stayed in the evil spirit divine realm for a period of time, so he understood this very well. It was extremely selfish. Even if those elders said that they would take care of them, it was based on the fact that they could serve the evil spirit divine realm. Otherwise, they wouldn't give them anything. They were simply stingy to the extreme. Especially those elders. All sorts of treasures were piled up into mountains, but they were unwilling to let go of any of them. I've harvested quite a few treasures again. Yi Tianyun was very satisfied with this. If these evil spirit races were a little more selfish, it would actually increase his wealth a little more. If it was some more magnanimous expert, the things in their storage rings would definitely be pitifully few. But now, the evil spirit race was very generous, which made him very satisfied. Evil spirit race, come and die. At this time, Elder Gu and the others brought a group of people and charged out of the planet. Everyone's aura erupted to the limit and they even took all sorts of strengthening pills. They charged out of the planet in one breath and set up a battle formation at the same time, ready to fight the evil spirit race. Who knew that after they charged out, they would see Yi Tianyun flying outside? The group of people were dumbfounded as they looked at Yi Tianyun in a daze. Following that, they looked at each other, and the same thought appeared in their minds: where was the evil spirit race? They had finally made up their minds to kill their way out and fight to the death with the evil spirit race. After killing their way out, everything was ready. Who knew that after coming out, everything would be empty? However, they could all feel the aura of battle from their surroundings, as well as the aura of the evil spirit race. They could even smell the disgusting stench of blood from the evil spirit race. Where are those evil spirit races? Ji Shiralian looked at Yi Tianyun in shock and said, "What do you think? I helped them go to hell just now. Before you guys came out, it was already over." Yi Tianyun shrugged his shoulders and smiled faintly. "It's a pity that you're late. Otherwise, I could have left some for you to play with." When these words came out, all of them were dumbfounded. Although they had already expected this, they were still deeply shocked. After all, Yi Tianyun was the only one left here. It was impossible for the evil spirit race to retreat. Unless they blew up the planet, they wouldn't choose to retreat. Now that there was not a single person to be seen, there was naturally only one possibility, and that was that they had all been killed by Yi Tianyun. Now that it was confirmed, they couldn't help but be shocked. Even the evil spirit divine general had been killed. How could Yi Tianyun's cultivation breakthrough be so shocking? However, they could feel that Yi Tianyun's cultivation was only at the Lord of Heaven's cultivation. He had indeed broken through from the Earth Lord to the Lord of Heaven. But how did he kill a divine Lord? This is impossible, right? They have divine Lord experts. How can they be killed like this? Elder Ji, you still found it hard to believe. After all, this was too exaggerated. These are all their storage rings. Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand, and their storage rings appeared in his hand, proving that they were his spoils of war. The divine spirit race naturally wouldn't snatch Yi Tianyun's spoils of war. Their wealth was slightly worse than before, but it definitely wasn't too bad. Thus, they didn't care about Yi Tianyun's spoils of war. It's really. They looked at each other and saw some horror in each other's eyes. How did you do it? They have divine Lord experts. Isn't it too exaggerated to fight someone of a higher cultivation level? They still couldn't believe it and didn't believe that Yi Tianyun had attacked head-on. It might have been a sneak attack. 1 or 2 shots, and they were dead. It's that simple. Yi Tianyun shrugged and said. They were instantly speechless. This was too exaggerated. 1 or 2 shots, and he said it so easily. That was the cultivation of a divine lord, not an earth lord or a star lord. Let's not talk about this for now. It looks like your scattered elders won't be able to return for now. However, I can bring you to them. How about that? Yi Tianyun asked. You can still find them? Elder Gu and the others didn't quite believe it. After all, even they couldn't find them. What method did Yi Tianyun use? Big brother Tianyun is amazing. He can even find our whereabouts. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to save us. Ji Tianze supported Yi Tianyun. Yes, little brother Tianyun. This time, I will be thick-skinned and continue to ask you to find other elders. As long as you find other elders, we are willing to join your faction. However, before we join, we ask for freedom. You can't interfere in our affairs. If one day we want to leave, please don't stop us. Elder Ji, you confessed to Yi Tianyun. Of course, since we have joined your faction, we will also protect you with our lives and treat you as our own home. We are also willing to nurture disciples. If they are talented, we can impart some divine seals that can be opened to the outside world. As for the time we will leave, we think it will not be less than 10,000 years. It's also possible that you won't leave and will stay in your faction. They had invested a lot, but this kind of condition was rather fair. They didn't take advantage of Yi Tianyun. How could they take advantage of a fan new faction? They were completely repaying Yi Tianyun. They also gave a time limit. 10,000 years was enough for the 3 realms to have a qualitative leap. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. He smiled and said, that's no problem. I will definitely agree to your request. I will have absolute freedom and will definitely not interfere in your affairs. When the time comes, we will arrange an independent area for you. You can do whatever you want. We won't care about anything. Yi Tianyun definitely knows what to do about these things. Letting the God Spirit race join his 3 realms was equivalent to wronging them. However, it would bring danger to the 3 realms. However, he wasn't worried at all. The 3 realms could move at any time, so he naturally wouldn't be worried about the evil spirit race's attack. Moreover, with his current situation, why would he be afraid of the evil spirit race? Unless a heaven-defying existence appeared, he wouldn't be afraid at all. Chapter 1259. Following that, Yi Tianyun brought them into the evil spirit puppets and relied on the keepsakes they gave them to start looking for the elders of the God Spirit race. As long as they stuffed the keepsakes into the evil spirit wheel, they would be able to find the elders of the God Spirit race. For safety's sake, they all chose to hide in Elder Gu's living ring so that it would be easier for them to act. Elder Gu and Elder Gu followed Yi Tianyun. The 2 of them had the strongest cultivation, so they could help if anything happened. Or if they found the elders, they would. Speaking of which, are you really willing to take in the God Spirit race? We're all being chased by the evil spirit race. When we find out where you're from, it might bring disaster, Elder Gu said in a deep voice. This question could not be avoided. After thinking for a while, they decided to ask this question. After all, it was a very serious matter, so they had to explain the situation in detail. Of course, if you're not willing, we will also let those descendants awaken their bloodline and teach them some divine seals and martial arts, Elder Gu added. Elder Gu was not very good at this kind of negotiation. Furthermore, Elder Gu had chatted with Yi Tianyun a few times, so they could get along well. That's an exaggeration. We're already at odds with the evil spirit race. Even if you don't join, the evil spirit race will find trouble with us. If you join us, our power will increase greatly. That's exactly what we want. Why would we worry about such a thing? Yi Tianyun did not say anything against his heart. That was indeed the case. If they could join, there would definitely be no harm. It was as if they would not be attacked if the God Spirit race did not join. However, if they joined the 3 realms, the danger would indeed increase. However, there were gains and losses. If they wanted the God Spirit race to teach them comprehensively, they had to be stationed in the 3 realms. Moreover, he was confident that he could guarantee the safety of the 3 realms. Especially after making the arrangements, if he did not make a trip to the evil spirit race, it would be a waste of his cultivation. At that time, how could the evil spirit race be distracted to deal with them? If that's the case, then we'll disturb you. Since Yi Tianyun had already said this, they wouldn't say anything else. If that really happens, we'll be responsible for attracting their attention and helping you lure them away. We won't cause you any trouble. Elder Gu said from the side. After all, it was their responsibility and they had to be responsible to the end. There's no need to say that. So long as you join our 3 realms, I'll protect you no matter what. I'll even join forces with our experts to deal with them. Once you join the 3 realms, you'll be considered a family. We can't just abandon you like this. Yi Tianyun's voice was sonorous and forceful. Indeed, he wouldn't abandon them. If that was the case, it would be too disappointing. Sometimes, one would rather die standing than live kneeling. They were moved. If it was any other force, the evil spirit race would immediately offer up their offerings and even join hands to deal with them. This was simply a type of tragedy. This was also the reason why they were unwilling to join other forces. With just a little pressure, they would immediately be betrayed. They didn't say anything else and had already remembered these words in their hearts. In the future, they would definitely swear to protect the 3 realms with their lives. Under Yi Tianyun's lead, they took many turns and passed through countless divine realms. Very quickly, they arrived at a remote area, and Yi Tianyun stopped. It's nearby. Observe the situation carefully. Yi Tianyun glanced around. It's nothing special. There's not even the slightest mark, not even the slightest clue. They couldn't leave any marks. The marks had already been seen through by the other party. If they still left a mark, Then they would be fools. Elder Gu and the others' eyes lit up. They hurriedly looked around to see if there were any clues. However, after looking for a long time, they couldn't find anything. Is it really nearby? They were slightly confused. It's really nearby. Yi Tianyun came to an area and stepped on the ground, drawing a circle on the soil. It's here. It should be hiding below. Hiding here? They quickly came over and stared at this area. After looking for a while, Elder Gu clapped her hands and said in pleasant surprise, "It's really here. This is the Divine Spirit Race's concealment formation. Only we elders can carve it." Elder Gu began to walk around the formation. After a certain number of steps, the ground slowly opened up, revealing a large hole. They jumped down without hesitation, and Yi Tianyun jumped down together with them. After they all landed, the door quickly closed. There was no trace of it at all. There had been some traces before, but there was nothing here. Unless one understood this formation, they wouldn't be able to see it. Even if Elder Gu understood it, she had to look for a while under Yi Tianyun's guidance to see how difficult it was. After entering, they fell from the sky and floated down for a while. Before they could steady themselves, an aura enveloped them. A cold light flashed in the pitch-black space. "Elder Jiming, it's us." Elder Gu and the others hurriedly shouted. After shouting, the aura instantly disappeared. Then, the surroundings lit up. An elder was standing in front of them. He was Elder Jiming. Elder Jiming's face was frighteningly pale. He was clearly heavily injured. In addition, there were a few Divine Spirit Race members lying on the ground. Their faces were pitch black. They were clearly poisoned. "Elder Gu, you actually found this place." Elder Jiming was extremely shocked. It was unbelievable that they could find such a remote and unmarked place. "It's a long story. We'll talk about it later." "Are the other elders poisoned?" Elder Gu and the others were even more shocked. They didn't think that Yi Tianyun could really help them find it. They felt that joining Yi Tianyun's force was the right choice. "That's right. They're all poisoned. Only I'm in a slightly better condition. I wanted to wait for the situation to improve before bringing them back. I didn't expect you to find me. What's the situation with the evil spirit race? Did they all leave?" Elder Jiming asked. "Well, they're all dead." Elder Gu smiled. "Dead?" Elder Jiming's face lit up. "Did they get some help? Or did you use some method to deal with it?" "No, it's all because of this little brother. He saved us and many of our clansmen. He even killed those evil spirit race." When Elder Gu and the others said this, they still felt that it was inconceivable. It was as if they were dreaming. A dignified divine spirit race was saved by one person. How could it not be a dream? Chapter 1260. Elder Jiming's eyes widened, wondering if he had misheard. This human cultivator had taken care of them, but this human cultivator's cultivation was only at the level of the Lord of Heaven. How could he deal with those divine monarchs? Elder Jiming's reaction could be said to be exactly the same as Elder Gu and the others. Both of them were deeply shocked, but most of them were still in disbelief. They had seen people fight above their level, but they had never seen so many. A divine monarch and a Lord of Heaven. The difference was like heaven and earth. As divine monarchs, they knew the difference between them and the Lord of Heaven. Even if it was just one level, it was still a world of difference. This wasn't just the case for divine monarchs. It was the same for other levels. As long as one's cultivation surpassed the level of a divine monarch, then everything else was but an ant. "Elder Jiming, I want to detoxify the poison first." Rather than discussing the topic, he wanted to detoxify the poisoned divine spirit first. Although it wasn't fatal, the sooner he could detoxify the poison, the sooner he would recover. Clan head G had been poisoned for too long, so he hadn't woken up yet. "You know how to detoxify the poison?" Elder Jiming looked at him in shock, then looked up at Elder Gu and the others, waiting for an explanation. They nodded. They had all seen Yi Tianyun's skills before. He didn't need to refine the detoxification pills. "Then, hurry up and detoxify the poison." Elder Jiming gestured for Yi Tianyun to detoxify the poison. He was thinking about how to do it. Now, it was just a simple detoxification to suppress the spread of the poison in his body, but the effect was minimal. Yi Tianyun didn't say much. He came to the fainted divine spirit and fed them the detoxification pills. After a few detoxification pills, the effects were immediately apparent. Their dark complexions quickly faded. In a short while, their complexions were back to normal, but they still needed to sleep for a while. It wasn't easy to detoxify the poison completely. All right, they will wake up after a short rest. The poison isn't too deep. They will recover faster than clan head Ji. Yi Tianyun nodded and stood up. That's great. Thank you, thank you. Elder Jiming was grateful. He didn't need to worry anymore. Elder Jiming, we have something to discuss with you. Elder Ji Yu and Elder Ji Yu nodded at each other. If they wanted to discuss the matter of joining the three realms with Elder Jiming, they had to discuss it with Elder Jiming. However, the result would not change. The elders of the divine spirit race had a lot of power. If two of them agreed, it was basically the final decision. Now that the Ji family leader had not woken up, the elder would definitely be in charge. Afterwards, the three of them began discussing. Elder Ji Yu told them the gist of the matter. During the process, Elder Jiming glanced over from time to time, truly shocked by Yi Tianyun. It could be said that he owed many favors for saving the god spirit race, and it was difficult for him to repay them. Thus, they felt that joining the three realms was a very good opportunity to repay their debt. Moreover, they could also hide, killing two birds with one stone. Alright, since you've already said it like this, I have no choice but to agree. Furthermore, this little brother has been of great help to us. Joining them would be our gain. Elder Jiming shook his head. No one would believe him. It was already a miracle that a human heavenly lord could save the divine spirit race. Brother Tianyun, when do we leave? Elder Jiming looked at Yi Tianyun and asked. They had basically gathered together, so it was about time to leave. It was not safe here. Hiding in the divine domain was not as safe as hiding in the Fan Yu region. We can leave now. But before that, you should enter my inner world or the living ring for a while. Yi Tianyun would definitely use the teleportation godstone to bring them back. Bringing them through the many divine domains or the Fan Yu region would undoubtedly expose them even more. They could directly teleport over without anyone noticing. Unless they were marked, they would not be discovered. Without hesitation, they immediately chose to enter Yi Tianyun's living ring. Since they chose to believe in Yi Tianyun and chose to join the three realms, there was nothing to hesitate about. Under normal circumstances, no one could casually enter the living ring or the inner world. If anything happened to Yi Tianyun, it would be extremely dangerous. After entering, Yi Tianyun's figure flashed and he quickly disappeared. Everything was so quiet. The next moment, Yi Tianyun appeared in the sky above the three realms. Seeing such a familiar scene, no different from before, he still felt very comfortable. This was his real home. After wandering outside for so many years, nothing could compare to the warmth here. Yi Tianyun waved his hand, and Elder Ji Yu and the others appeared again. They all looked puzzled. It had only been a short while, and they had already come out. Was there something special? All the elders have arrived. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. Ah, are we here? They were instantly dumbfounded. After coming to their senses, they carefully sensed the surroundings. It really was the normal Fan Yu world. This kind of aura was the world of Fan Yu. Otherwise, the star power here wouldn't be so thin. We really are here. We were in the divine realm just now. Did they rely on the teleportation array or some special teleportation ability? They all speculated, not knowing how Yi Tianyun did it. More or less relying on the teleportation array. Yi Tianyun smiled and didn't explain too much. He flew down with them. I will take the three elders to the area of your descendants first. Their residence is definitely suitable for you. Elder Jiming and the others saw some shock in each other's eyes, as well as some joy. Being able to join the three realms was definitely not a bad thing. On the contrary, they had benefited. Under Yi Tianyun's lead, they quickly arrived at the area of the Spirit Clan. The Spirit Clan was now much more prosperous than before. Coupled with the nourishment of the life core, Their reproduction ability had greatly increased. They really are descendants of the Divine Spirit clan. Their bloodline is a lot thinner, but I can still vaguely feel the bloodline of our race. When they saw a large group of descendants of the Divine Spirit clan, they were ecstatic. The Divine Spirit clan had very few descendants to begin with. As long as these descendants awakened the power of their bloodline, they would also become true Divine Spirit. This meant that they would immediately have thousands of more descendants. How could they not be overjoyed? Elders, I have something to say first. We won't order them to do anything. Similarly, they are my people. Unless they are willing to go with you, you can't take them away by force. When Yi Tianyun saw the three elders' eyes lit up, he felt it was better to say this in advance. What's there to go? What's there to go? We'll stay here. The three elders shouted in unison. Yi Tianyun was surprised. How could there be such a change? Chapter 1261. Well, didn't you say that you might leave after 10,000 years? Yi Tianyun couldn't help but feel suspicious when he saw how determined they were. Why did they change so suddenly? Who knew what they were thinking? However, he still understood what they said before. It was impossible to completely lock them here, and it was already amazing that they could stay here for 10,000 years. At that time, the three realms would have a great leap, and it wouldn't be a problem for them to leave. Of course, if he could stay, he would definitely hope that they wouldn't leave. If they could stay here forever, that would be the best outcome. Now that they had just started, Yi Tianyun was taken aback, and he didn't know what they were talking about. There are so many people here, and if there are no special changes, we can stay here. They smiled like flowers, as if they had encountered a top treasure. How could they be willing to leave? Suddenly, Yi Tianyun knew what they meant. There were so many people of the spirit race here, and if they could awaken more than half of their bloodline, it would be enough for them to have a lot of people. How could they leave? At first, they thought there were only a few hundred people, but now there were tens of thousands of people, especially in a good environment. How could they be willing to leave? They all wanted to stay here. Yi Tianyun looked at them and smiled. How could he not know what they were thinking? They wanted to stay here and assimilate the spirit race of the three realms, and then completely transform into their people. Although they were all of the same race, it was impossible for them to listen to any instructions from Elder Jiue and the others. The ancestral bloodline was important, but it didn't mean that they would listen to everything. Heavenly Cloud's great emperor, what's going on? Yi Qingxian quickly flew over. She received instructions from Yi Tianyun and quickly flew over. When she saw Yi Tianyun, she was happy, but when she saw Elder Jiue and the others, she was a little confused. She could feel that these people were not simple, and she even felt a sense of closeness, as if they were of the same race. These are your people, but they have a purer God-spirit race bloodline. You will know later. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. A purer God-spirit race bloodline? Yi Qingshuan's eyes narrowed. She knew what it meant. It meant that they were at the level of their ancestors. This is the elder who is currently leading the spirit tribe. She is in charge of the spirit tribe now. You can talk to her about this, Yi Tianyun introduced to Elder Jiu and the others. At this moment, Elder Jiue and the others had already released Ji Shiralian and the others. They were very curious about the situation around them, especially when they sensed that there were other clansmen. They were as shocked as Elder Jiue and the others. Is she in charge of everything? Elder Jiu and the others stared at Yi Qingxian. After a moment, they smiled and said, she is indeed a good seedling. If she awakens her bloodline, she will definitely be able to advance to a higher level. Heavenly Cloud's great emperor, I usually manage the spirit race, but now that you are back, you will be in charge. You are the king of our spirit race, and we will listen to your instructions. Yi Qingxian smiled. She was very smart, and she immediately understood what Elder Jiu meant. However, she couldn't guarantee that she would be able to deal with these people alone. She definitely had to bring Yi Tianyun with her. She didn't want Yi Tianyun to be a boss who didn't do anything. The king of the spirit race? Elder Jiue and the others turned their eyes to Yi Tianyun again. Indeed. My force is called the Three Realms. It is managed by me, but everyone has their own division of labor. If things are more serious, I will make the decision. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. It turns out that you are the true ruler of the three realms. Since everyone calls you Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor, we will also call you Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor. From now on, we will be in your care. Elder Jiue and the others smiled. Since they joined the three realms, they naturally had to use honorifics. Although Yi Tianyun didn't interfere with their management, this was still his territory. Of course, but I usually don't stay here, so this area is usually managed by two people. One is Elder Yi, and the other is my wife. If there is any important matter, you can discuss it with them. Their decision is my decision. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. After a brief explanation, Yi Tianyun sent a voice transmission to Yi Qingxian. They are your people, and they will help you awaken your bloodline. How much you can learn from them is up to you. Their ability is definitely beyond your imagination. Dig as much as you can. Yi Qingxian smiled like a flower. She naturally knew what to do. No matter what kind of experts came, as long as they came to their territory, they should listen to them. In particular, Yi Tianyun's words meant that Yi Qingxian could do whatever she wanted. More importantly, she should keep her heart and not be taken away. Yi Tianyun wanted them to stabilize the Divine Spirit Clan, not let the Divine Spirit Clan take away their own people. With such a fat piece of meat in their mouth, how could they not take a bite or two? Soon, they arranged a place for the godly spirit race to live. They were already very satisfied with this place and were not picky. They were willing to join Fan Yu's forces, so they were already mentally prepared. For example, Fan Yu's forces are bad, or the cultivation environment is bad. What they need is security, stability is enough, the rest can be taken slowly. After the arrangement, a voice sounded in Yi Tianyun's ear. Completed Special Race Joining Forces Achievement, Level 1, Divine Spirit Clan joined, plus 500 Crazy Point, 500 Compression Proficiency, and get 3 lottery ticket. The addition of the Divine Spirit Clan and the completion of a good task made Yi Tianyun's eyes light up. This is also an achievement-type task, which means that as long as special races continue to join, they can continue to upgrade this achievement and get higher rewards. This made him feel very satisfied. In the future, if he sees similar declining races, he must rope them in and settle them in the three realms. The three realms is not big, but it can accommodate hundreds of millions or even billions of cultivators. The resources are a little less, but they can go to the nearby areas to collect resources, and they can even rob the resources of the evil spirit clan. However, since he will accept those special races, the number will certainly not be a lot. Some of them are even like the Divine Spirit Clan, so he doesn't need to provide any resources. On the contrary, the other party will provide them. The rest was left to Yi Qingxian to manage. He was once again a hands-off shopkeeper. Originally, Yi Qingxian was the leader of the spirit race. Naturally, he would let Yi Qingxian manage it. It's time to go back and meet Shuiyun. Yi Tianyun smiled. It's good to come back from time to time. Chapter 1262. After Yi Tianyun went back to have a good chat with Shuiyun and Yi Sixue, he didn't stay any longer. His figure flickered and disappeared on the spot. When he reappeared, he was on the core surface of the three realms. There was no doubt that he wanted to complete the previous mission, which was to cross the worry-free bridge. Back then, he felt that he couldn't cross it. Now that his cultivation had broken through, he didn't know if he could cross the worry-free bridge. I wonder if I can pass it this time. If I can, I will know the secret of the three realms. Yi Tianyun knew that the three realms wasn't simple. It looked simple on the surface, but it was definitely not. In the past, he thought that it could be easily destroyed, but after careful observation, he found that it was terrifyingly strong. Even a heavenly venerate couldn't destroy it. This was the terrifying part. As one's cultivation increased, one's horizons widened, and one could understand how terrifying it was. Who was the expert who created the three realms? The key was why he did it. When Yi Tianyun put his hand on the divine seal, his soul consciousness was quickly sucked into the divine seal. When he woke up again, he appeared inside again. The situation around him hadn't changed. All kinds of souls were still coming and going, and there were even unfamiliar faces. However, this wasn't the main point. He went straight to the worry-free bridge and looked across it. After a slight pause, he lifted his foot and walked over to the worry-free bridge. He just wanted to try and see if he could cross it. When he arrived in front of the worry-free bridge, there were souls walking past him and then disappeared at the end, never to be seen again. He lifted his foot and walked on the bridge. As soon as his foot stepped on the worry-free bridge, he immediately felt that his soul consciousness was about to disappear. In that instant, it was as if he had forgotten who he was. He had forgotten everything. He had even forgotten martial arts and who his wife was. In the next second, he quickly retreated, staggered a few steps, and almost fell to the ground. This is too scary. All my memories almost disappeared. Yi Tianyun was shocked. He thought that he could withstand it, but now it seemed that he was too naive. If he continued to take a few more steps, all his memories would immediately disappear. When that time came, he would really be reincarnated and completely forget everything. As for whether he could reawaken his memories, he wasn't too sure. Who knew when they would awaken their memories, especially when they had cultivated to a certain level? It was possible for them to awaken. This was only a possibility. Whether or not it would succeed was another matter. Perhaps he would never be able to remember it. These were all possibilities. I didn't expect it to be so terrifying. Just how powerful must one's cultivation be to be able to reach the end without losing their memories? Yi Tianyun still had a lingering fear in his heart, and he still hadn't completely recovered from the shock. When he walked the celestial sovereign path, he didn't feel that it was that terrifying. The two of them weren't even on the same level. Although he knew that it would be difficult to pass through here, he didn't expect it to be so terrifying. Looks like even a heavenly venerable would find it hard to walk through here, let alone a divine lord. Yi Tianyun frowned. He didn't dare to try teleporting over. Once he teleported over, an even more terrifying memory deprivation would occur, and then everything would be over. He wouldn't do these things that he wasn't sure of. If he wasn't careful, he would be finished. Immediately, he took a deep look at the Forget Worries bridge, and without hesitation, he turned and left. Soon, his soul consciousness returned to his body and looked at the divine seal under his feet. Sure enough, he needed a stronger cultivation to discover the truth. However, after he broke through a great realm, he still planned to come back and try to see where the gap was. Ding, successfully completed side quest help Patriarch G detoxify, received 5 compressed crazy point, 5 compressed proficiency, 50 divine spirit races favorability and a lottery roulette ticket. Not long after he came out, this quest popped up. There is no doubt that Patriarch G detoxify has woken up and completely detoxified the poison. It was just that the reward was a little shabby, but compared to before, it was indeed a much better reward. But for now, it's a bit shabby, but it's better than nothing. Patriarch G detoxify has woken up. It's time to go. Although Elder GU and the others have the right to speak, they still need to meet Patriarch G detoxify. Immediately, his figure flashed and reappeared in the spirit race forest. After a few steps, he saw Ji Shualian rushing out of the house in front of him. Young Master Tianyun, my father has woken up. We were just about to go find you, but I didn't expect you to come here. Ji Shualian was ecstatic. Even if she already knew that her father could detoxify the poison, she was still very excited to see her father wake up. Then let's go see Patriarch G detoxify. Yi Tianyun nodded with a smile and walked in together with her. As soon as he entered the house, Elder GU and the others were standing on the side, including Yi Qingxian. It seemed that they had already chatted for a while and told him about the general situation. When Patriarch G detoxify saw Yi Tianyun come in, he sat up slightly and said gratefully, I think you are the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor who saved me. Thank you very much for your help. I am not feeling well now, so I can't get up, please understand. That's not necessary. You are still my senior, so you don't need this kind of etiquette. Yi Tianyun said hurriedly. No, you saved our divine spirit race, and this alone is enough for me to bow to you. I, as the patriarch, didn't bring my people out of danger. Instead, I fell into a predicament. Patriarch G detoxify said with a bitter smile. If it weren't for Yi Tianyun, they would really be finished. Patriarch G detoxify me, Or rather, help me improve my force, I will be very grateful. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. His words were so straightforward, he didn't hide anything. Instead of saying grateful words, it was better to help improve his force. Of course, this is not a problem. Patriarch Ji Detoxify's eyes flashed. We will do our best to improve your force by several levels in a short period of time, and reach the level of first-grade Godrel. Once Patriarch Ji Detoxify said, he would definitely fulfill his promise. His words carried more weight than Elder Ji Yu and the others. Thank you very much, Patriarch Ji Detoxify. Yi Tianyun smiled slightly. He was very satisfied with the promise. This was the kind of promise he wanted. First-grade Godrealm was not his final goal, but for now, he had to take it one step at a time and quickly improve his force to first-grade Godrealm. If he took too big a step, he might fall. Chapter 1263. After chatting with Patriarch Ji and the others, Yi Tianyun was very satisfied and didn't stay any longer. After all, the God Spirit race had many things to do, so he didn't want to disturb them. As for other rewards, he didn't need them at all. The God Spirit race could repay him with something, but he didn't need them for now. Or rather, he wanted the rewards to be transferred to the three realms. The God Spirit race did their best to raise the three realms' power, and he was already very satisfied. His ability was limited and he could only teach so much. What he could give was in terms of martial arts. The God Spirit race could greatly strengthen the God Seal. There were also a few elders who could obviously help with many things. When he left, clan leader Ji gently leaned on the side of the bed, looked at the elders and said, other than some martial arts that are forbidden to be spread out, teach the rest. Especially to greatly strengthen this faction. Regardless of race, we have to nurture them. Chief Ji, what do you mean? Elder Ji Yu and the others were dumbfounded. They thought that clan leader Ji would object or say something. Now that he had an opinion, it was for them to help the three realms more and not hold anything back. This surprised them and they didn't know why they chose to do this. To them, they had to keep at least half of it. Only then would they be able to maintain their mysteriousness and status. Now, Chief Ji wanted them to teach everything they knew without holding anything back. This was like he was treating his own disciple, and he was spreading it to the entire three realms, regardless of race. He could even do this to Yi Qingxian and the others. They couldn't understand why he was doing the same to the three realms. Do you think I'm exaggerating? I want you to teach them without holding anything back and even guide this faction. Chief Ji smiled calmly. Do you think that I'm spouting nonsense because the poison hasn't been cured yet? Definitely not. Definitely not. The three elders waved their hands to express that they didn't think that way. In reality, they had thought about it before. They had just woken up from the poison, so maybe they really were confused. Okay, there is no need to say so much. Chief Ji said solemnly, I only said that after listening to your description and considering the situation here. What's going on here? Isn't this just a Fan Yu faction? I've investigated it a little, and the overall situation isn't bad. Compared to other Fan Yu factions, it's relatively strong. The number of star venerates is not bad, much more than the other Fan Yu, Elder Ji Yu said after some thought. Now, there were many more star venerates in the three realms. As for earth venerates, none had appeared yet. Existences of this level were not easy to come by. They still needed to accumulate for a period of time. Patriarch Ji shook his head and said, this is just on the surface. The real important point is that I feel that this place has the true ancestors' aura. Furthermore, it is the true power of our ancestors that has been condensed in the core. The ancestors' aura is here. They were shocked. Ji clan leader was different from them. He had felt the ancestors' power before, so he could naturally judge it more accurately. Yes, I didn't believe it at first, but when I sensed it carefully, it was true. The ancestor must have set up something here. Something that the ancestor set up here is definitely not simple. Ji clan leader said slowly, since the ancestor values this place so much, why don't we nurture this place? Moreover, there are so many people here whose bloodline hasn't awakened, but after awakening, they are no different from us. We can also see many things from here. Maybe the ancestors' bloodline is here, and that is where our God Spirit race's rise lies. Clan leader Ji threw out another heavy bomb, shocking the three elders, blasting them into a daze. If other people were here, they would be even more shocked. Ji clan leader only left the three elders to discuss and didn't talk about anything else. The three of them looked at one another and Elder Ji Ming sighed, "It seems like we were short-sighted. I can't blame you, your senses aren't as strong as mine in this area." Ji clan leader smiled, "Now, do you know why I made this decision?" "Yes, since we sensed the ancestors' aura, should we go take a look?" Elder Ji Yu and the others were extremely excited. If they could obtain the ancestors' power, they would be able to reach a higher level. "Don't," Ji clan leader said solemnly, "everything must respect the master's will. When we achieve something, we will discuss it with the heavenly cloud's great emperor. We can't blindly demand, we must first learn to respect and repay. Since the ancestor left the energy here, it must have its own meaning." They nodded thoughtfully. Indeed, they must respect Yi Tianyun's will and not act recklessly. If Yi Tianyun found out, it wouldn't be good. So we have to take it slow and not rush at all. There are still many things that we need to do here. There are so many descendants waiting for us to help them awaken. Basically, everything was finalized. Yi Tianyun didn't need to eavesdrop nearby to know that they wouldn't do anything. Their loyalty and favorability had reached more than 70 to 80, so naturally, they wouldn't cause any trouble. At the same time, he also guessed that Ji clan leader's answer must be related to the three realms. He originally suspected that the three realms was probably created by the ancestors of the god spirit race, but as for why it was created, he wasn't quite sure. Anyway, Ji clan leader must have sensed something, and he wasn't afraid of being sensed at all. Even if he knew, could he take this place away? Besides, he was the master of this place. No one could take the three realms away. After spending some time with Shi Shueyun and the others, Yi Tianyun used the teleportation divine stone to return to the evil spirit race's territory in Mortal Realm. Now, it was time to do a thorough cleaning and complete the main quest. After returning here, Yi Tianyun immediately sensed the area where Yu Ming was. He immediately flew over and soon found Yu Ming with a group of experts, hiding in a planet to rest, ready for the next big attack. Yu Ming. Yi Tianyun's figure flashed and appeared beside Yu Ming. "Master." When Yu Ming sensed Yi Tianyun's aura, she immediately stood up, her beautiful eyes filled with surprise. When Yi Tianyun saw her energetic expression, it seemed that the battles did not make her tired, but filled her with energy. After all, this was her goal. Every time she obtained a great victory, she would be extremely excited. Chapter 1264. When Yi Tianyun appeared, not only Yu Ming, but many other generals also stood up. They did not know Yi Tianyun's identity. When they saw Yi Tianyun, all of them became vigilant. "Don't be agitated, he is our true leader, he is the one supporting us from behind." Yu Ming indicated to the general beside him not to be agitated. "True leader." Their eyes lit up. A long time ago, they had heard of a leader, but they had never seen him before. But now that they saw him, they sized up Yi Tianyun from head to toe. They did not have the slightest bit of respect. Yi Tianyun did not show off his skills in front of them, so they were not convinced at all. As for Yu Ming, it was different. She was the true leader now. Everyone listened to her orders and did whatever she told them to do. "All of you, show some respect. He is our true leader, all of you have to listen to his instructions, do you understand?" Yu Ming snorted coldly. When he saw their disdainful gazes, he was immediately enraged. "Yes, sir." They were forced to listen to Yi Tianyun, and they still felt unhappy. On the surface, it was normal, but in their hearts, they were unconvinced. It was undeniable that Yi Tianyun's cultivation was that of the Lord of Heaven, stronger than the generals present. However, there were also some generals whose cultivation had also reached the level of the Lord of Heaven. They only listened to Yu Ming's orders. After all, it was Yu Ming who saved them. What could Yi Tianyun do? Control from behind? But they only saw Yu Ming doing his best, and did not see Yi Tianyun doing his best. Now, he suddenly appeared and said that he wanted to take charge of this place. They were equivalent to a hard bone, and it was not that easy to bite. After all, they had all been slaves before, so what was there to be afraid of? Especially now that they were enemies with the evil spirit race, they were even more fearless. If it wasn't for Yu Ming's orders, they wouldn't have bothered with Yi Tianyun. Even if a God Lord was here, they wouldn't listen. They could be said to be people who had died once. What was there to be afraid of? Yi Tianyun patted Yu Ming's shoulder and smiled. There's no need for that. I'll leave them to you. I'll just support you from behind. How could he not guess what they were thinking? He knew that if he interfered now, it would affect their morale. Therefore, it was better to let Yu Ming lead the team. Moreover, she was indeed a good leader. More than half of Fan Yu's evil spirit race had been eradicated, causing the elders of the evil spirit divine realm to stomp their feet in anger. But Yu Ming was still unhappy. She had originally wanted to bring out a bunch of experts and hand them over to Yi Tianyun to manage. There's no need to say anything more about that. Tell me about the current situation. It doesn't seem to be looking too good. Yi Tianyun did not say much about this. When the time came, they would naturally obey him. All right. Yu Ming did not waste any time and immediately reported the current situation. The general content was very simple. The evil spirit divine realm had sent out many experts, including the Lord of Heaven, and there were even divine Lord experts. The strongest cultivation level of the slaves on their side was only at the Lord of Heaven. Facing the divine Lord, they had no way of resisting at all. Therefore, they were discussing how to lure the divine Lord away and destroy the remaining evil spirit race's forces. The difficulty of this was not small. If they were not careful, it would bring about a destructive blow. I understand the general situation. I wonder if you're ready? After Yi Tianyun understood the situation, he smiled. So it was this kind of difficult problem. It was really not difficult for him. I'm ready. Yu Ming's eyes lit up. She knew that Yi Tianyun was prepared to personally lead them to a great battle. All right, prepare to set off and exterminate the remaining evil spirit race. Yi Tianyun's eyes burned. As long as he destroyed the remaining wave, Fan Yu's evil spirit race's forces would completely disappear. If Fan Yu's evil spirit race's forces disappeared, it would be the evil spirit divine realm's turn. Wait a minute. At this time, many generals stood up and looked at Yi Tianyun, and said solemnly, Lord, is there no plan? They could not take it anymore. Without saying anything about a plan, they would just charge over. Wouldn't they all be wiped out? Yu Ming was furious. She had followed Yi Tianyun for a period of time and knew Yi Tianyun's abilities. She also knew that his methods were definitely not wrong. Seeing that they were disobedient, she was furious. Just as she was about to say something, she was stopped by Yi Tianyun. My plan has always been very simple. It is to directly charge over and kill whatever I see. Yi Tianyun looked at them and said with a faint smile, Kill whatever you see. Lord, the other party has a divine Lord level expert. Your current cultivation should only be the Lord of Heaven, right? Are you sure that going over like this is not equivalent to sending us to our deaths? Their expressions were ugly. After all, this kind of thing was not rare. For the sake of victory, those in high positions would do anything. Although they were not afraid of death, they did not want to be cannon fodder, nor did they want to die. Even if they died, they had to die with some value. If it was a defeat or a battle where they were crushed, they did not want to do it. Yi Tianyun silently glanced at them and did not say much. As expected of a slave who had always been oppressed. Their rebellious emotions were truly crazy. Master's decision is definitely not wrong. Master will not let us die in vain. Yu Ming could not stand it any longer and directly stood up to angrily complain to them. Lord Ming, we only listen to your orders. From the beginning, they did not plan to listen to Yi Tianyun's orders. They would only listen to Yu Ming's orders. Even if they died in battle in the end, they would be extremely convinced. Their lives were originally given by Yu Ming. Yu Ming was about to explode from anger and was extremely embarrassed. She had originally wanted to control this generation and hand it over to Yi Tianyun to manage. Who knew that such a thing would happen, causing her to feel both angry and helpless. Under this tense atmosphere, a guard suddenly rushed over from outside and hurriedly said, Not good, not good. The guards over there sent news that a large group of evil spirit races were rushing over, including the Divine Lord Rancor. I don't know how they discovered our hiding place, but it's best to escape immediately. The faces of the generals changed, including Yu Ming's. It seemed like they were going to retreat. Lord Ming, it seems like we can only retreat for now, the generals hurriedly said. They did not have a good plan, so they naturally did not dare to fight the other party head-on. Otherwise, they would definitely die. Yu Ming turned to look at Yi Tianyun, wanting to hear what he had to say. It's too late. They're already here. Just as Yi Tianyun finished speaking, an aura that suppressed the heavens and earth came from outside. It pressed down from the sky and suppressed the entire place. Their expressions changed. It seemed like they could not escape. They did not expect them to kill so quickly. Didn't you want to see my abilities? You'll see it in a while. Yi Tianyun smiled indifferently, with an indescribable confidence. Chapter 1265. Yi Tianyun's words caused them to be stunned. Could it be that Yi Tianyun was going to personally go out and kill the intruder? However, the intruder's cultivation was at the Divine Lord level. How could a Lord of Heaven deal with him? A bunch of trash at the bottom actually dares to rebel. All of you, come out and die. The Divine Lord's aura pressed down from the sky, causing their bodies to tremble and their legs to go limp. Just this aura alone was already difficult for them to resist. How were they supposed to resist it head-on? It wasn't just this Divine Lord. There were also many Lords of Heaven surrounding them from the outside, surrounding them and making it impossible for them to escape. In just a short period of time, they had already rushed over. Their speed was simply too fast, so fast that it was shocking. They had clearly hidden quite well, but who knew that they would be discovered so quickly? How could this be? We are so remote, yet we were discovered. The faces of the generals turned ugly. Especially when they sensed the aura around them, they knew that they had nowhere to run. I think there's a traitor among you. Otherwise, it would be impossible for you to be discovered so quickly. Yi Tianyun squinted his eyes. There were quite a few cultivators hiding here, there were thousands of them, so it was normal for there to be traitors among them. Yu Ming's ability was to lead them, but it was not absolute. If some of their cultivations were higher than Yu Ming's, then their loyalty would be lower. Therefore, Yu Ming's cultivation had to increase, or else his control would definitely decrease. Traitor. Yu Ming's gaze turned cold. Thinking about it carefully, it was not impossible. Although they had all been slaves before, some liked to betray others in order to obtain benefits. Especially those who felt that these people were unable to deal with the evil spirit race, they simply chose to betray them. This way, they would obtain more benefits and not care about the situation of others. The expressions of the other generals changed. This was indeed possible. Whether or not there is a traitor is no longer important. Yi Tianyun did not say anything else as he turned around and flew out. Right now, they were not discussing who the traitor was, but how to defend against these enemies. Yu Ming followed and quickly flew out. The other generals also followed along. After they flew out, what they saw was naturally the evil spirit race, surrounding this place. The leader was the evil spirit race's Divine Lord Rancor. With his cultivation, he would normally be considered a general of the evil spirit race. Yi Tianyun took a look. It was not the evil spirit race general that he had seen before. The evil spirit divine territory was so vast, so it was normal that he had not seen all the Divine Lord powerhouses. This is a great humiliation. With just a few of you, you actually managed to overthrow most of Fan Yu's forces, General La said coldly. Giving you the opportunity to serve us is already your greatest honor. I didn't expect you to betray us. If that's the case, then all of you can go to hell. So many of Fan Yu's forces were destroyed that even the elders were alerted. If he was enraged by this situation, he would definitely kill if he could and would not hold back. Even if they had to kneel down and beg for mercy to become slaves again, they still didn't want them. Instead, they wanted to completely annihilate them, leaving no one alive. It's our honor to serve you. Yi Tianyun sneered. You evil spirit race are truly arrogant. You are the most disgusting race I have ever seen. If I see one, I will kill one. If I see two, I will kill two. I wish I could exterminate all of you, evil spirit race, a group of disgusting races that should not have appeared in this world. Yi Tianyun's sharp words caused everyone to suck in a breath of cold air. To be able to say such arrogant words in the face of a divine lord, it was truly not simple. The rest of the cultivators of the Lord of Heaven were suppressed by this aura to the point that they were unable to resist, let alone say any arrogant words to refute. Just this point alone, Yi Tianyun's actions made them have a good impression of him. At the very least, their master's master was not a weakling. Even when facing the experts of the evil spirit race, he was not afraid at all. Arrogant humans. General La sneered, how dare trash humans like you say such arrogant word. Since that's the case, I'll start with you and devour you one by one. I'm just hungry. General La's 16 arms spread out behind his back, and his huge body was like a towering mountain as he charged over. He was so fast that they could not even see him. In the next second, he had already arrived in front of Yi Tianyun, opening his huge palm and grabbing towards him. He did not intend to kill Yi Tianyun, but to capture him alive. In his opinion, as long as one was a divine lord, they were all ant. He could easily kill them and knead them however he wanted. However, his thinking was indeed correct. Everyone below the divine lord level was an ant. Unfortunately, Yi Tianyun was not an ant, but a lion. Master. Yu Ming hurriedly dodged and blocked in front of Yi Tianyun, wanting to use his own body to block General La's attack. The other generals' expressions changed, but it was too late to drag him back. General La was too fast. Unless he stood beside them, he would not even be able to drag him back. Moreover, even if he managed to drag him back, he would not be able to escape. The difference between an Earth Lord and a Divine Lord, or a Lord of Heaven, was too great. Yi Tianyun reached out and dragged Yu Ming to his side. Then, with a light wave of his hand, the starry divine spear appeared and shot forward like an arrow. In an instant, it was as if a Milky Way pierced through the void, leaving a silver light in everyone's eyes. In the next second, General La, who was pouncing over, was frozen in the void. His hand that wanted to grab him froze at the side, unable to move even an inch. Then, General La's huge body began to collapse rapidly, turning into nothingness and scattering in all directions. It was obvious that his body was in a state of collapse. With just one shot, General La was killed in an instant. What kind of power is this? General La's eyes were filled with fear, but before Yi Tianyun could answer, his body had already turned into powder and disappeared from everyone's sight. Yi Tianyun did not move at all. The starry divine spear in his hand had returned to him, and he was holding it firmly in his hand. A mere God Lord level 2 evil spirit race dares to be arrogant in front of me? Yi Tianyun sneered. If one did not have a God Lord level 7 or 8 evil spirit races cultivation level, one should really not jump around in front of him. Otherwise, he would only need one move to easily kill him. Master. Yu Ming's beautiful eyes widened. She did not expect her master to have become so powerful that he could kill a God Lord with just a flick of his finger. She knew that Yi Tianyun was capable, but she did not expect him to be so powerful. He was so powerful that it was terrifying. When the other cultivators, who were in despair, saw this scene, they were all dumbfounded. The generals, who originally thought that Yi Tianyun was arrogant and conceited, were now dumbfounded. In their minds, they thought that Yi Tianyun was only a Lord of Heaven cultivator. Chapter 1266. The fact that Yi Tianyun had killed the evil spirit race's divine lord in one move immediately stunned them, and they did not recover from their shock for a moment. It was impossible for the Lord of Heaven to instantly kill a divine lord, but the truth was right in front of their eyes. They thought that the arrogant and conceited leader had displayed an astonishing level of skill, reversing their common sense. Not only were Yu Ming's side stunned, the evil spirit race in front of them were also shocked. Their general had been killed in an instant. What about them? They would definitely be easily killed. Run! They turned around and ran. They did not have time to think. They only thought of one thing. Under normal circumstances, the evil spirit race's military rules were strict. If they were to casually escape, they would be executed. But now that their general had been killed in an instant, and they, who were not even as strong as the Divine Lord, what was the point of staying here? You want to escape? Yi Tianyun sneered. He transformed into a silver river and swept forward, turning all the evil spirit race he touched into dust. It was as if he would die if he touched it. Coupled with the use of the Phoenix race's bloodline, his speed instantly increased by 100 times. The terrifying speed made them unable to even see it, but a large number of evil spirit races had already been swept away. In less than the time it took to brew a cup of tea, all the evil spirit races that had surrounded them had turned into dust. After easily killing them, Yi Tianyun quickly returned to Yu Ming and glanced at them indifferently. It's been settled. Their bodies trembled, their eyes filled with fear and reverence. Thinking back to their previous disrespect, they wondered if they would be executed. How could such a disrespectful act not be executed? This was equivalent to offending one's superiors, and even more so, questioning the strength of a superior. Under normal circumstances, this was definitely a huge taboo. Master is invincible. Yu Ming half knelt on the ground, her beautiful eyes filled with surprise and admiration. She had long known that Yi Tianyun had the ability, it was just that it had exceeded her expectations. However, she quickly accepted it. She knew that her master would definitely not do anything that he was not confident in. She had seen it before, so she naturally knew that Yi Tianyun was not the kind of person who would boast. "And my lord is invincible." Everyone else knelt down one after another. Since Yu Ming had knelt down, how could they still dare to stand? Yi Tianyun nodded. He glanced at the front and smiled faintly. "Do I have the qualifications to lead you?" "Yes, absolutely qualified. If Milord doesn't have the qualifications, then who does?" "That's right. We were in the wrong previously for doubting Milord's strength. If possible, we are willing to accept punishment. We're not afraid of death, but we don't want to be cannon fodder. No matter who it is, we will have our doubt. If the Lord were to punish us, he wouldn't even bat an eyelid." All of their gazes became incomparably sharp. They were filled with respect towards Yi Tianyun, but they were even more determined and pleasantly surprised. They were naturally very happy to have such a powerful leader. Only then would he be able to completely eradicate the evil spirit race and help them take revenge. Amongst the cultivators present, most of them had a blood feud with the evil spirit race. Countless of their relatives and friends had died at the hands of the evil spirit race, so how could they not want to take revenge? Therefore, they did not want to die casually. No matter what, they had to kill a few more evil spirit races. "Your thoughts are very normal, I can understand. It is undeniable that there are indeed some leaders like this, but I am not one of them." Yi Tianyun glanced at them and said in a deep voice, "I will not blame you for this. Everyone, get up." "Thank you, my lord." Only then did they stand up one by one, and look at Yi Tianyun with completely different gazes. Yi Tianyun walked forward, and after looking around, he said coldly, "However, there is one thing that needs to be investigated thoroughly, and that is the traitor." Traitor. Their hearts trembled, and only then did they remember what Yi Tianyun had said before, and that was the problem of the traitor. However, their companions all knew that there was no way to find out who the traitor was. "Master, do you have any clues?" Yu Ming's eyes lit up as he followed beside Yi Tianyun and asked. "Of course I have a clue, and your responsibility is quite big. There are quite a few traitors among us." Yi Tianyun smiled indifferently. "Many traitors? Master, please help me find them." Yu Ming's beautiful eyes gradually became incomparably cold. Killing the traitor would not be any weaker than killing the evil spirit race. "That's for sure. What I hate the most in my life are traitors." Yi Tianyun smiled at them, causing their hearts to tremble. Could it be that Yi Tianyun really knew who the traitor was, and did not randomly drag him out? The rest of the generals looked at each other, not knowing how Yi Tianyun had found them. Could it be that he had searched their souls one by one? This was indeed the simplest and most crude method, but it was easy to arouse disgust. In addition, there were so many cultivators now. It would be quite difficult to search their souls one by one. Yi Tianyun did not say anything as he walked over step by step. When he passed by a cultivator, he dragged him out. After rolling on the ground a few times, he lay on the ground, unable to move. This cultivator's power had been sealed, so he naturally could not move. The second, the third, the fourth, The 27th. He threw out 27 cultivators in one go, shocking everyone. There were actually 27 cultivators? Wasn't this a little too exaggerated? There were actually so many traitors. However, this was not the end. Yi Tianyun walked in front of the generals of the Lord of Heaven and patted one of the generals on the shoulder. You hid it quite well. I didn't expect that as a general here, you would be a traitor. After saying that, he threw him out fiercely and heavily smashed him onto the ground, causing his face to be bruised. My lord, I can't accept this. I am a general, how can I be a traitor? The general who was thrown out roared. That's right, my lord. How could I be a traitor? I have killed many evil spirit races and have made countless contributions. The other cultivators who had been thrown to the ground also roared, feeling as if they had been treated differently. The cultivators looked at each other in dismay, but they did not come out to stop him. They believed that Yi Tianyun would give them a reasonable explanation. You're not a traitor just because you've made countless contributions? Yi Tianyun sneered, start the soul search now. If I catch one wrong person, I won't have the qualifications to be your commander. From today onwards, I will turn around and leave, and I will definitely not interfere. Yi Tianyun's ruthless words caused the cultivators who were originally a little resentful to not have the slightest intention of stopping him. After all, since he had already said so, he would use the soul search to verify his true identity and see who was lying and who was the real traitor. Speaking of traitors, their hearts were even colder to the extreme. Who hated traitors, especially those who had joined the evil spirit race? It was even more disgusting. Chapter 1267. The eyes of the cultivators who were thrown out and controlled were filled with fear, not anger. Some of them even started to shout, saying how many meritorious deeds they had done, how many evil spirit race beings they had killed, and how many companions they had saved. Some cultivators wanted to stand up and say a word or two, saying that their companions were not traitors. However, they endured it in the end. Yi Tianyun had already spoken. If there was any mistake in his judgment, he would immediately scram. What else could they say when his words were so ruthless? Especially since Yi Tianyun had saved everyone just now. Logically speaking, they still owed Yi Tianyun a life. Under such circumstances, how could they still dare to stand up and help? I wonder if you guys will do the soul search, or if I will. Yi Tianyun looked at Yu Ming and the others and said, let's leave it to the Lord. They looked at their companions and couldn't bear to search their companions' souls, especially since there was a general among them. They almost shouted that this general couldn't be a traitor. However, due to the pressure and Yi Tianyun's oath, they chose to tacitly agree. As long as the soul search wasn't extremely resistant, there wouldn't be any problems, so it wasn't a big problem. Alright, since you want me to do it, I'll do it. Yi Tianyun walked straight to the traitors, waved his hand, and hung them up in the air. Then, he searched their souls through the air, and at the same time, he transformed their memories into images. After this is done, I will give you a reincarnation treasure and give you your freedom. As long as you report all the details to me, I will give you your freedom, and there will be no lack of treasures for you. The evil spirit divine realm has sent a general, a divine lord. Do you think you can escape? Obediently join us, and you will be able to obtain even more benefits. Do you understand? Images appeared in their minds one after another. The cultivators who wanted to refute Yi Tianyun now obediently shut their mouths, not daring to say a word. Soul-searching was definitely not a mistake. All of their minds were filled with scenes of betrayal, including that of the general. They all felt that there was no hope of resisting and even less hope of escaping. They were afraid of death and chose to betray their comrades in the end. Some were greedy and put their companions to death. The more they looked at it, the more chilling they felt. This was especially so for Yu Ming. His heart had turned cold. If not for Yi Tianyun's timely arrival, they would have been completely annihilated. What a joke. Do you think you'll be fine by relying on them? Once I'm done using you, I'll turn you back into slaves and torture you. What freedom? What benefits? With the evil spirit race's savagery, how could they be so generous? When Yi Tianyun let them see this scene one by one, he sneered at their betrayal. Many cultivators were extremely naive, thinking that the evil spirit race would really fulfill their promise. Who knew that in the end, it was as if they were farting and would not fulfill their promise at all. Unless he made an oath, then there would be some credibility. But would they swear an oath? It had always been empty talk. Yi Tianyun had already seen through everything a long time ago, but there were still cultivators who fell for his tricks time and time again. At the end of the day, many situations were too desperate. They thought that they could not escape and could only choose to betray their companions to survive. I'll leave these traitors to you. How you want to deal with them is up to you. Yi Tianyun waved his hand, and they all fell limply to the ground. The soul search had ended. When they regained consciousness, they saw their good brothers, whose eyes were filled with coldness and killing intent. Almost everyone was the same. They looked at them with killing intent, wanting to kill them on the spot. General Kai, I didn't expect you to betray us. We are comrades in arms and have gone through countless difficulties together. You actually. The eyes of the general at the side were all red. He felt that everything was not worth it. They had gone through life and death together, thinking that they would share the joys and sorrows. Who knew that it was just their wishful thinking? The other party had betrayed them, and everything seemed so laughable. You guys listen to my explanation. It was already useless to explain. They were full of nonsense, and no one would accept their explanation. No matter what the explanation was, the result of betrayal was death. Very quickly, they were hacked to death. Even if they were hacked to death, they would not be able to completely vent the anger in their hearts. They still felt extremely angry, but even more so, they felt waves of sorrow. They had treated their companions as companions who had gone through life and death with them, but they had used their lives to exchange for money and freedom. After venting, all of them looked at Yi Tianyun with gazes filled with worship. They didn't know how Yi Tianyun found them, but it was possible that he had investigated them. In short, none of them were wrong. Thank you, my lord, for helping us find the traitor. One by one, they knelt down again. Those who had originally suspected Yi Tianyun all felt somewhat guilty. Don't worry, everyone has their own choice, and that's their choice. I hope that even if you really want to betray us, don't join the evil spirit race. Yi Tianyun said in a deep voice, they are all selfish. They won't even believe in their own clansmen and make promises, so why would they believe in outsiders? These words were not spoken carelessly. The current situation of the evil spirit race was like this. They were all selfish fellows, and whoever cooperated with them was an idiot. All of them nodded their heads. They would not choose to betray them. Instead, they would be loyal to Yu Ming, and even more loyal to Yi Tianyun. Through this matter, they had completely submitted to Yi Tianyun, and they were completely convinced. While they still don't know and haven't sent more reinforcements, let's carry out a general attack and uproot Fan Yu's evil spirit race. Yi Tianyun looked at them and said sternly, yes sir. They roared, their morale high. This time, they felt that with Yi Tianyun around, they would definitely be victorious in every battle. Seeing their morale increase greatly, Yi Tianyun was very satisfied. Master, how did you discover those traitors? Yu Ming was a little curious. About this, I saw it. Yi Tianyun smiled slightly. You saw it? Yu Ming's head was filled with fog. No matter how she looked, she could not see through it. Everyone had concealed it very well, so how could she see through it at all? That's right, I saw it. Yi Tianyun laughed. There's no need to think too much about it. We'll set off later to fight and eradicate the evil spirit race. All right. Yu Ming did not say much. In any case, it was enough for her to know that she was loyal to Yi Tianyun. Actually, Yi Tianyun was not lying. He had indeed seen through it. The appraisal I could clearly see their loyalty and good impression. These traitors did not have any loyalty towards him at all. One must know that he had just saved their lives, so no matter what, their good impression and loyalty would increase. Chapter 1268. After this small interlude, not only did their morale not drop, it had instead risen rapidly. This was all thanks to Yi Tianyun. Even if their companions had betrayed them, with him holding the fort, what else was there to be afraid of? Immediately after, a group of people started to surge towards Fan Yu's evil spirit race. Fan Yu's forces were just short of a small wave. After exterminating this small wave, Fan Yu's evil spirit race's forces would temporarily be gone. Why did he say that it was temporarily gone? If the evil spirit divine realm sent people down and continued to establish it, it would naturally be rebuilt. However, Yi Tianyun would not give them this chance. After destroying Fan Yu's forces, he would turn to the divine realm's forces. Under Yu Ming's lead, they flew straight to Fan Yu's evil spirit race's forces. Yi Tianyun did not let himself take full control, but continued to let Yu Ming lead. He did not plan to use the main force, but left everything to them. Unless they had powerful cultivation, he would not make a move. This was a ruthless training for them. If they were to be left to him to deal with, these people would never grow. Moreover, they did not want Yi Tianyun to make a move. It seemed to reduce casualties, but personally killing their enemies was the only way to truly achieve the feeling of revenge. If they let Yi Tianyun deal with it, although they could also take revenge, they felt that it would not be as good as dealing with it themselves. Therefore, they all planned to deal with it themselves. Unless some experts appeared, there was no need for Yi Tianyun to do it himself. After a period of rushing, they did not hide their figures, and they openly killed their way over. As long as there was no extremely strong evil spirit race, it would not be difficult for them to deal with it. They were people who had been revived, and they were even more ferocious than the evil spirit race in battle. This time, they no longer hid, but attacked head-on. This was also Yu Ming's plan, to let Yi Tianyun experience the battle prowess of this group of cultivators. It's right in front of us. Prepare for a bloody battle. Yu Ming's eyes were cold. The sharp sword in his hand glowed with a faint red light, and a murderous aura rose from all directions. The experts behind him all took out their weapons at the same time, which were also glowing with a faint red light. These red lights were all their achievements, the achievements of killing the evil spirit race. Once they went crazy, even they were afraid of themselves. Yi Tianyun looked up and saw that the evil spirit's headquarters, the Phantasm City, was right in front of them. Originally, Phantasm City wasn't a large city. However, due to Yu Ming's relentless attacks, their forces had gradually shrunk, and they had all gathered in Phantasm City. Now that the Phantasm City had been expanded, more and more evil spirits were gathered in it. There were many layers of defense outside, and it was extremely tight. This was a critical period, so how could they dare to relax? They were all extremely vigilant. Their arrogance had turned into vigilance and even a little fear. Yu Ming's slave army was quite a large number. They were just scattered. If they were gathered together, it would not only be thousands of them, but tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of them. Those who gathered together were those with relatively high cultivation and status. Only then would they gather together to discuss matters. The rest of the cultivators were scattered in different places, and they could come to help at any time. That was what was happening now. Groups of cultivators were rapidly pouring in from all directions. The lowest cultivation base was at the Star-Lord level. It could be said that they were densely packed. There were at least tens of thousands of them in total. Yu Ming's cultivation base had already broken through to the second refinement Earthlord level, and he was leading a group of people whose cultivation bases were higher than his. No one would believe it if he told others. However, she had done it. As a woman, what she had done was far beyond what others could do. However, his cultivation was still a bit too low. After this matter was over, he had to make Yu Ming's cultivation increase by a level. Only then would he be able to better control this army, and make them maintain their absolute loyalty. If her cultivation base was too low, their loyalty would be reduced. For example, those traitors all had higher cultivation bases than her, so they would be disloyal. If their cultivation base was high, their loyalty would not be shaken. This was Yu Ming's special ability. It could be said that she was born to lead troops, and she could help him expand his territory. According to the information we received, the highest cultivation base is only at the second layer of the Lord of Heaven, and most of them are at the fourth refinement Earthlord level. Now, follow me. No need to go around in circles. Just kill them. Yu Ming immediately gave the order. Now that the security was so tight, they would be discovered no matter which corner they entered from. Since that was the case, Why not fight them head-on? They could directly devour them with the strongest force and the strongest morale. Kill. Tens of thousands of cultivators roared as they swarmed towards the Phantasm City. Like a tidal wave, they swarmed forward and drowned the Phantasm City. Yi Tianyun didn't make a move. He just stood where he was and watched the battle. If he made a move, he would be able to suppress them easily. However, they all needed more training. It was impossible for him to conquer the world alone. He needed more capable subordinates so that he could protect the three realms in the future and become an absolute army of the three realms. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! The evil spirit guard's expression changed when he saw the swarm of cultivators. He immediately sounded the emergency signal, telling all the experts in the Phantasmal City to get ready. What's going on? Didn't General La lead his people to encircle them? How can they still come here? Could it be that General La is dead? Impossible. General La is a divine lord powerhouse. How can these slaves possibly kill General La? Whether they believed it or not, Yu Ming and the other cultivators had already rushed down and slammed into the shield. They began to destroy the shield in a frenzy. Their battle state was extremely frenzied. Seeing their enemies, their eyes reddened. How could they not erupt with even greater power? Break. Yi Tianyun flicked his finger. The Star Divine Spear turned into a silver river and pierced through the thick shield. Although he didn't make a move, it didn't mean that he wouldn't make a move. It was still necessary to break the shield. If they couldn't break it for a long time, the casualties would be extremely serious. Therefore, they had to break the shield as soon as possible. After breaking the shield, they were stunned for a moment. Then, they shouted and continued to fight. Yu Ming knew that it was Yi Tianyun's contribution. He didn't say anything and rushed down with the cultivators. For a time, a great battle immediately broke out. Groups of cultivators were not afraid of death at all as they pounced forward and fought with the evil spirit race. Soon, both sides suffered casualties. The cultivators were even more seriously injured. Since it was a battle, there were bound to be casualties. However, when they were about to change to someone else to heal their wounds, a green beam of light enveloped them and healed their wounds quickly. They could even regrow their broken arms. As long as they didn't lose their heads or have their souls destroyed, they could recover. Chapter 1269. Without a doubt, Yi Tianyun exchanged for the Voodoo Divine set. He was not in a hurry to exchange for the rest of the set. He was very optimistic about the Voodoo Divine set. It had super healing ability and super defensive power. It could be said to be a global support, healing all cultivators within sight. Voodoo Divine set requires the cultivation of the Lord of Heaven to equip it. Can transform into Voodoo Divine set. After transforming into Voodoo Divine set, one's own healing ability increases by 500 times, defense increases by 1000 times, invincibility skill, absolute defense against Divine Lord level attacks for 5 minutes, cooldown time is 2 hours. At the same time, it can heal everyone within sight. The effect varies according to cultivation level, consumes 1 compressed crazy point per minute. With such amazing effect, how could he not exchange for it? Compared to other sets, he appreciated this set more. In a group battle, the effect of using it was absolutely amazing. He was not afraid of getting injured at all. In addition, he also had invincibility skill, so he was not afraid of fighting a Divine Lord. However, if a Divine Lord wanted to fight him, they should not fight him head-on unless they were Divine Lord level 9 or above. His current power could be said to be extremely brutal. Ordinary Divine Lords could not stop him. It's amazing, this is the power of Master. I was seriously injured just now, but now I have recovered most of it. I will recover after a little rest. Yes, it's amazing. My injuries will be healed soon, and I can continue to fight with the evil spirit race. With Master here, why should we worry about losing? We will definitely win this battle. They were all shocked. They had never seen such a scene before. With someone constantly healing them from behind, what was there to be afraid of? This was equivalent to turning them into an undead army. They were not afraid of getting injured in battle. Even if they were injured, they would recover immediately after a little retreat. Yu Ming was overjoyed. Seeing his battle losses dropping rapidly, it was very likely that he would become a state of 0 casualties. In the previous battles, there would be casualties. This was the inevitable result. Now that they had Yi Tianyun behind them, they were not afraid of getting injured. Their morale was continuously rising, making them invincible. Master is too powerful, really too powerful. Yu Ming brandished the sword in his hand and unceasingly killed the evil spirit race's people. One by one, the evil spirit race's people were easily killed by them. This scene caused the evil spirit race's side to be scared out of their wits. They had clearly just cut off one of the enemy's arms, but they recovered in a moment. With their cultivation, it wasn't difficult for them to regrow their limbs, but wasn't this speed of recovery a little too fast? It could be said that in the blink of an eye, the severed arm had regrown, which was much more terrifying than their regenerative abilities. Quick, evacuate. Report the situation here to the higher-ups. One by one, the evil spirit race could only choose to retreat. This was simply a one-sided suppression. What was the point of staying here? However, what welcomed them was a group of cultivators surrounding them. They had already surrounded this place. If they wanted to escape, they would have to ask this group of cultivators first. Seeing that they were getting more and more courageous as they fought, Yi Tianyun felt that this set of voodoo with divine equipment was really powerful. There was actually a profession here called healer. The effect was similar to his, which was to use their vast life force to continuously heal their teammates. It was just that the requirements for healers were quite stringent, and they needed a very powerful wood-type power to achieve this effect. Moreover, the effects weren't as monstrous as his. Wherever he looked, he would be able to quickly heal. This meant that the tens of thousands of cultivators in this area were all within his healing range. Those healers were far inferior to Yi Tianyun's ability. The two of them weren't even on the same level. He wouldn't make a move, but it wouldn't be a problem for him to support the healers from afar. This way, he could also cultivate their combat ability, and most importantly, he could also obtain experience. Ding. Successfully killed evil spirit race, 3rd refinement Earth Lord. Obtained experience. Ding. Successfully killed evil spirit race, 2nd refinement Earth Lord. Obtained experience. It could be said that he could obtain experience from all the evil spirit race they killed. Piles of experience kept surging up, making him feel very comfortable. They didn't need to fight at all. They just needed to heal from afar, and they could obtain experience from killing evil spirit race. He was also extremely short of experience right now, so he wanted as much as he could. The experience of these evil spirit race was a little less, but it was very little. With so many evil spirit race beings, he would definitely be able to level up. With his support, the results of the battle soon came out. The Phantasm City and the surrounding asteroids were completely surrounded by them. Not a single evil spirit race was left. They were all killed. It was not that they were cruel, but that the evil spirit race was too disgusting. It was useless to keep them alive. They didn't feel grateful at all. Instead, they would counterattack and kill those who showed mercy. It's finally over. After witnessing the whole process, it could be said that they had crushed the evil spirit race with irresistible force. It was a perfect victory. Not a single person on their side died. They all survived. This was an incredible thing. No one would believe that they didn't die after killing so many evil spirit race beings. Yi Tianyun had indeed done it. This meant that in the future, he would be able to heal his companions crazily in a state of unscathed. It's a pity that this set of equipment can't be given to others. Otherwise, it would really be invincible. Yi Tianyun suddenly thought of something and slapped his thigh in surprise. The set of equipment can't be given to others, but it can be used by the puppet. The evil spirit puppets could use the set of equipment, which meant that the voodoo wood god set could also be used. However, it would definitely not be used by the evil spirit puppets, but by other puppets. If the evil spirit puppets appeared, they would definitely be furious. Therefore, he needed to create a good puppet so that he could bring the team to battle. He could freely control the puppet through it, which was equivalent to another clone of himself. A miracle, it's really a miracle. Sir is invincible, Sir is invincible, Sir is invincible, Sir is invincible. After the battle ended, the group of people knelt down one after another. Their loyalty had reached the maximum. Yi Tianyun's move was too abnormal, and they could only look up to him. Seeing that the group of people knelt down, Yi Tianyun raised his hand and said in a deep voice, "You did very well in this battle. Be it the way you fought or the way you cooperated, they were all very good. Now, start plundering. All the spoils of war will belong to you." All right. Their blood was boiling. There were many spoils of war there, and they really wanted them. Under normal circumstances, they would have to offer them up. Now that Yi Tianyun could take whatever they wanted, how could they not be excited? Successfully completed the main quest: suppress the evil spirit race, completely destroy the evil spirit race territory. Reward: 500 compressed crazy point, 5,000 compressed sin point, 5,000 compressed proficiency. Also obtained the title Evil Spirit Race Killer. Chapter 1270. A lot of rewards came to Yi Tianyun, which made him very satisfied. But he is even more satisfied with the title Evil Spirit Killer, which can increase the damage of the evil spirit race by 15 times. Compared to Heavenly Path martial arts or various abilities, this is not a very good effect. But it is better than nothing. Directly stacking the damage by 15 times, this is definitely excellent. After all, high-grade reincarnation level martial arts can only increase the damage by about 10 times. As for Heavenly Path martial arts, it is dozens of times. Therefore, this is why so many cultivators want to obtain Heavenly Path martial arts. High-grade Heavenly Path martial arts can be even more overpowered by 30 to 40 times, crushing everything. When the ultimate effect is cultivated, it is estimated that it can rush to about 60 to 70 times, or even higher. In any case, Yi Tianyun is very satisfied, and he can get so much EXP level up. Ding, deducting 1000 compressed EXP, successfully leveled up to Lord of Heaven 4th layer. Yi Tianyun didn't think much and immediately used a lot of EXP to break through to Lord of Heaven 4th layer. Instantly, most of the EXP was used up. Nowadays, the amount of EXP needed to level up is too much. If he didn't kill all the evil spirit race in Phantasm City, it would be really difficult for him to level up. But that's all. He killed at least tens of thousands of evil spirit race, and the EXP he got was only enough to level up. This is the effect of low cultivation. If his cultivation is a little higher, the result will definitely be different. Ding, successfully accepted the main quest: destroy evil spirit celestial realm, completed, received 5,000 compressed crazy point, 1,500 compressed sin point, 1,500 compressed proficiency. At the same time, received the title Super Evil Spirit Killer. Also received the main quest Big Gift Pack. Sure enough, this is the main quest. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. He knew that after the destruction of Fan Yu's evil spirit race, it will be the turn of the evil spirit race celestial realm. If there is no this quest, he will also destroy the evil spirit celestial realm. Now that there is a quest, naturally it can't be better. Master, we have completely destroyed Fan Yu's evil spirit race celestial realm. They will not appear for a while. Yu Ming's beautiful eyes are full of joy. They know that the battle with the evil spirit race is not over, but they can overthrow Fan Yu's evil spirit race celestial realm. The rest of the cultivators in the city began to cheer loudly. Some of them even dropped to their knees and wept bitterly. The temporary revenge gave them a temporary vent for their anger and sorrow. However, their true ultimate goal was the evil spirit divine realm. The evil spirit divine realm's influence was smaller than this place, but it focused on one's cultivation level. With their current situation, they would be cannon fodder if they charged in. Yi of them. Celestial Tianyun, of them of Celestial sect of Celestial of Star. You Master, Celestial, Demon S, of Saint. Everything should be arranged by them, and not everything should be ordered by him. What do I need so many god generals for? I need them to be able to work for me and have their own thoughts and judgment. He does not have the desire to control everything. Instead, he gives away all the power. If it were other emperors, they would definitely not let go. But he is different. He still gives away the power that should be given, and let them make arrangements. If he was disappointed, he would either have to find someone else or die. He is not afraid of any betrayal. As his god generals, they naturally will not have any thoughts of betrayal. The subordinates of god generals will betray, but after betraying, what awaits them will be death. Powerful strength was the most fundamental existence, not some kind of authority. Stable authority was built on powerful strength. If one didn't have powerful influence, even if one became the emperor, it wouldn't have any meaning. After all, the country may be destroyed the next day. What emperor, what prime minister, what emperor, is all fleeting. I plan to establish a Fan Yu force, gather all the slaves together, and cultivate a group of experts. After greatly strengthening the comprehensive force, I will kill my way into the evil spirit celestial realm. However, this goal is a little distant, but I believe that as long as I persevere, I can do it. Yu Ming's beautiful eyes are filled with determination. She is still very young and can continue to fight. That is why she has such thoughts and such a goal. However, before we kill our way into the evil spirit celestial realm, we will observe the evil spirit race forces in Fan Yu. Once there are signs of them rebuilding, we will immediately go and destroy them. Unless they keep sending experts, we will continue to destroy them. We will destroy them as many times as we build them. Yu Ming's tone became cold. She does not want to see any evil spirit race forces established in Fan Yu. Yi Tianyun nodded in satisfaction. He is very satisfied with this plan. This is the kind of battle idea that he wants. That's right. Just act according to your own ideas. If there are any problems, inform me immediately. With that, Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand and lightly tapped on her forehead. A bright light landed on her forehead. Through this energy, you can inform me. I will rush over immediately. Thank you, Master. Yu Ming nodded excitedly. I definitely won't let you down. I will definitely take care of this matter. Actually, there's no need to force yourself too much. I wonder if you have any relatives or friends. You can go see them or look for them. Yi Tianyun asked. Yu Ming shook her head, biting her lips, her eyes red. Yi Tianyun immediately knew that something bad had happened. It seemed that he had asked a taboo question. Sorry, I said something I shouldn't have. Yi Tianyun hurriedly apologized. It's fine. Yu Ming shook her head. I will exterminate all the evil spirit race and avenge them. It was Master who gave me this chance, otherwise I would not have had the chance to take revenge. As a slave, she had no chance to turn things around. Unless her master died, she would not be able to obtain freedom. All right. Yi Tianyun's eyes burned as he said, this goal will be achieved. At that time, I will bring you along and slaughter all of the evil spirit divine realm. Yu Ming nodded her head heavily, clenching her fists tightly, her heart surging. After explaining everything, Yi Tianyun gave her a portion of the resources so that she could establish a brand new force. He did not let this group of people join the three realms, but chose to station them in this area. If he wanted them to gather together, he would have to wait until the time was ripe. After all, if he went to the three realms, it would be difficult for him to move. He had to stay here and interfere with the evil spirit race. Chapter 1271. In front of the distant evil spirit divine realm, several Lord of Heaven evil spirit race experts were patrolling the surroundings, extremely vigilant of the surrounding situation. Ever since the divine spirit race in the evil spirit divine realm was rescued and the development elder was killed, the evil spirit divine realm had never relaxed. Especially at the passageway, there were many guards guarding it. There were several Lord of Heaven outside, and there were also quite a few inside. There were even divine lords guarding it. There were only a few evil spirit divine realm passageways to begin with, so it was not a problem to arrange for a divine lord to guard each passageway. However, the evil spirit race members had to work extremely hard every day to observe the situation around them. This made them complain incessantly, but they could only forcefully continue. As long as the elders did not give the order to relax, they had to be vigilant of their surroundings. If they were discovered not to have done it well, they would definitely be severely punished. Damn it, I wonder when we can end this kind of patrol. It's too tiring to be on such high-intensity patrol all the time. That's right, but there's no other way. We can only continue patrolling. If we let them slip out, we'll be dead. I wonder where those guys are hiding. We've been searching for so long, But we still haven't found them. I suspect that they might have broken through space and escaped. They might not even need to go through the passageway. No matter what, we have to search the entire evil spirit divine realm. Otherwise, we won't let this matter rest. It will take at least a few hundred years to search the entire evil spirit divine realm, right? It might take a few thousand years. The evil spirit divine realm is too big. It's fine to guard the passageway, but it'll be too difficult to search inch by inch. But there's no other way. It shouldn't take that long, but it'll take at least a few decades. After all, the elders have been mobilized, and they're very fast. All of them felt very dissatisfied, but they could only carry out the order. If they wanted to completely end it, they had to search the entire evil spirit divine realm and prove that they had broken through space to escape. However, breaking through the passageway alone required a very strong power or a star beast. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to ignore the passageway and break through the divine realm's space. However, star beasts were not omnipotent. They could not travel through any divine realm. For example, it was very difficult to pass through the evil spirit god domain. One needed a very strong cultivation to make it possible. If it was really related to the divine beasts of the starry sky, they could find traces of it through exploration. These scars would not disappear so quickly. It would take a long time for them to recover. The star divine beasts had dug a tunnel in the void. Even if this passage was filled up, there would still be traces left behind. Therefore, if they found out that a divine beast of the starry sky had been here, their search would basically be over. If there weren't any, he would continue searching until he was completely gone. Under such circumstances, how could they not go crazy? Wait, something's wrong. At this moment, they immediately sensed that a figure had appeared in front of them. When they saw it clearly, they realized that it was a human flying towards them. He's a human cultivator. How dare he fly over? They frowned and flew out, shouting at Yi Tianyun, "Cultivator, if you don't want to die, get out of here. Don't come any closer." They couldn't be bothered. After all, the most important thing right now was to guard the entrance, not to kill the passing cultivators. He would be punished if he left without permission. However, no matter how they shouted, the human cultivator slowly flew over, getting closer and closer. Is this kid really not afraid of death? Or is he someone's slave? The guard frowned. Who cares whose slave he is? If he continues to come closer, we'll capture him, another guard said. Following that, the cultivator finally flew in front of them. Without saying a word, they immediately surrounded him, wanting to capture this cultivator. When they got close, a cold light that resembled a galaxy swept in all directions, cutting them in half at the waist. They were instantly killed. This power. When the other guards saw this, they immediately crushed the communication jade pendants in their hands so that they could send reinforcements over. The cultivator walked over unhurriedly and said with a smile, "That's right. Hurry up and call people over. I want to see how many experts will come." Such an arrogant cultivator was none other than Yi Tianyun. He did not teleport in or change into an evil spirit puppet to sneak in. Instead, he charged in openly. This was the effect he wanted. He wanted to kill as many as he came. He wanted to accumulate experience and see how many experts there were in the evil spirit celestial realm. He wanted to make a comprehensive judgment on whether the true strongest expert could suppress him. If they were too weak, then he did not mind destroying the evil spirit celestial realm right now. "You, who exactly are you?" "This is the evil spirit celestial realm." They emphasized where this place was. Even a third-grade God realm expert would not dare to provoke the evil spirit celestial realm. Therefore, they had to emphasize more so that the other party would not act recklessly. "I'm looking for your evil spirit celestial realm," Yi Tianyun sneered. He held the starlight divine spear tightly in his hand and turned into a red light that shot towards them, passing through them. They opened their mouths, wanting to say something. In the next moment, they turned into a pile of ashes and disappeared into the void. What happened? A divine lord expert flew over from the front. He sensed the crushed jade pendant and immediately rushed over to help. Just as he wanted to see what had happened, a figure had already arrived in front of him. Before he could react, he felt a chill in his chest. Only then did he see Yi Tianyun's figure. By the time he wanted to resist, it was already too late. The starlight divine spear that pierced through his chest released a ray of light and killed the evil spirit divine lord with a single strike. The evil spirit divine lord had just found out that there was an intruder, but he had already been killed. He was not even comparable to cannon fodder. With the support of the evil spirit race's killer, the defense of these evil spirit race is too weak. I can break them in one move. Yi Tianyun felt extremely comfortable. He could casually add 15 times the damage, so how could he not feel good? A second or third level divine lord could be killed in an instant with a single spear strike. It was as easy as drinking water. General, the general is dead, the general is dead. When the guards at the end of the passageway saw that their general had died, they all screamed and screamed. They all crushed their emergency jade pendants and called for reinforcements from all directions. Quickly close the passageway, don't let him in. At the same time, they quickly closed the passageway, not wanting Yi Tianyun to come in. However, the speed at which they closed the passageway was too slow. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tianyun had already arrived in front of them. "What's wrong? You don't welcome guests," Yi Tianyun said with a smile, looking so kind. Chapter 1272. Yi Tianyun's speed was too fast. In the blink of an eye, he was already in front of them. He swung his spear and stabbed fiercely, instantly killing the guards with 2 shots. At the same time, the passageway behind him had already started to close rapidly. But to him, it was already meaningless. What was the use of closing it when people had already come in? Since these spatial passageways could be opened, they could definitely be closed to prevent outsiders from invading. After closing, it would not be an easy task to dig through, even for Yi Tianyun. If it was closed, other than using teleportation divine stones to enter, he could only enter from other passageways. If all the passageways were closed, he could only give up on forcefully opening a passageway. His cultivation was too low. If he wanted to break through this passageway, he needed very strong spatial power. Otherwise, if he wanted to break through in his current situation, he would not be able to open it without hundreds or thousands of years. This time was too long. He would not break through the passageway. Unless his cultivation was heaven-defying, then the passageway could be easily opened. This cultivation needed to be at least at the Divine Lord level. Divine Lords already had a deeper understanding of controlling the power of heavenly Tao. The speed of opening would naturally be greatly improved. But it would still take a long time to open it. He had sufficient power now, but his realm was not enough. His attainment in the power of heavenly Tao was still relatively shallow. He was purely strong in terms of explosive power. The gap in realm was still difficult to make up for. If he had Divine Lord cultivation in the future, he could easily kill a heavenly venerable. But in some aspects, he was still far inferior to a heavenly venerable. This gap was the power of a heavenly venerable. The power of a heavenly venerable had a miraculous effect when suppressing the power of heavenly Tao. Hence, realm was very important. But power was even more important. As long as he had enough power, even if his power was suppressed, he could still blow up his opponent with one punch. Another 2 down. Yi Tianyun did not stop. He continued to rush towards the guards in front of him, not allowing them to escape. He killed them instantly. After killing the guards around the passageway, he flew straight to the city in front. Before he could kill his way in, many Lord of Heaven and 2 Divine Lords had already flown out of the city. They were the experts guarding the passageway. When they received the urgent order, they hurried over. As soon as he flew out, he saw Yi Tianyun flying towards him. "Audacious intruder, how dare you trespass into our evil spirit divine realm?" The evil spirit race experts immediately rushed over. They used all of their strength and did not relax at all. Since Yi Tianyun was able to kill his way in, it meant that the guards outside had all been dealt with. The passageway was guarded by the Lord of Heaven, and there were also god monarchs. To be able to come in like this meant that the opponent was definitely not simple. So what if I did? Yi Tianyun's eyes turned cold. He swung his spear and launched a frenzied attack. The Phoenix bloodline and Dragon God bloodline were fully activated. Under the full activation of these two top-notch bloodlines, the silhouette of a dragon and phoenix appeared behind him. The two illusory figures danced wildly behind him, displaying their most terrifying power. Under the eruption of the two great forces, he fiercely waved the starry divine spear in his hand. The divine patterns on the spear instantly burst forth, layer upon layer of power bursting out. Following that, it transformed into a giant scythe spear light and swept forward. Quick, dodge. This terrifying sharpness, even the god monarchs hurriedly dodged to the side. But even if they can dodge, the rest of the Lord of Heaven can't dodge, and soon the spear light penetrated their bodies and directly cut them in half. The domineering and unparalleled spear light continued to sweep down the city below, followed by a loud boom sound. The terrifying spear light blasted a huge gap in the city above the planet, almost cutting the planet in half. Because the defense of these planets have been blessed, even the extremely strong god monarchs can't easily destroy them. It would take a lot of effort to destroy them. Even so, Yi Tianyun's domineering spear light instantly harvested a large number of evil spirit races' lives. Ding, successfully killed evil spirit race, second refinement Earthlord, obtained. Ding, successfully killed evil spirit race, third refinement Earthlord, obtained. Ding, successfully killed evil spirit race, Lord of Heaven first layer, obtained. The data directly exploded in his mind, obtaining a large number of EXP and crazy point. It's not over yet. Yi Tianyun threw in all the EXP cards to get more EXP. Use 200 times EXP card, 50 times crazy point card, 50 times SPS value card, 50 times proficiency card, 100 times EXP card. Almost all the EXP card or crazy point card that he can buy, he used them all. What he wants is to be crazy enough. He hasn't been crazy for a long time, and now he can finally go crazy, and at the same time, he can improve his cultivation to the god monarch level. You, which force sent you here? We are the evil spirit celestial realm. The evil spirit celestial realm is what I want to kill. Yi Tianyun swept his spear, and a god monarch first layer evil spirit race was cut in half, followed by a wave of EXP directly exploding in his head. Ding, successfully killed evil spirit race, first layer god monarch, obtained 5,800 compressed EXP, 270 compressed crazy point, 230 compressed SPS value. At the same time, obtained evil spirit blood, evil spirit soul, evil spirit bone. Explosion, an absolute explosion of EXP popped out. It shocked him. Originally, first layer god monarch first layer only had 10 compressed EXP, but now it exploded to almost 6,000 EXP. The comprehensive EXP card has reached more than 500 EXP. It can be called an explosion. A god monarch next to him trembled. His companion was killed in one move. What kind of power is this? Is this really the power of the Lord of Heaven? Obviously, Yi Tianyun gave them the feeling that he is the Lord of Heaven. For them, the Lord of Heaven can be easily pinched to death. How can he kill a god monarch? This friend, if there is something to say, please don't fight. The god monarch next to him wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He wanted to buy time, he wanted to escape, but he knew that he can't escape. Yi Tianyun's speed is too fast, so fast that even he can't see him. You have something to say. Do you still want me to let you go? Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand and waved his spear at the city next to him. The spear light swept across the huge city, once again creating a deep ravine. Countless people died. This is right. Please let us go, we have something to say. The god monarch can only bite the bullet and continue. What the F********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Why don't you just let them go? You have something to say. Yi Tianyun snorted coldly. He waved his spear and stabbed at the god monarch. The next moment, the spear penetrated into the god monarch's body. He didn't wait for the god monarch to say anything, he already turned into dust. Chapter 1273. Recalling all kinds of scenes, Yi Tianyun's anger in his heart is even more intense. Each of them is more violent than the other. What qualifications do they have to beg for mercy? In the beginning, the human race kept begging for mercy, but it was useless. They were directly killed on the spot or enslaved by them. The evil spirit race turned a blind eye to their begging for mercy. They have a heart of stone. There is no pity for them. Those who should be devoured would be devoured. How could he possibly let them go? Now Yi Tianyun is the same. begging for mercy is bullshit, let's just kill them. Immediately afterward, Yi Qianyun killed the city in one fell swoop, the star divine spear in his hand slaughtered madly, the city was torn apart, countless people were killed and injured. By Divine Sword Supreme Set. Divine Sword Supreme Set requires the cultivation of the Lord of Heaven to equip. The user can transform into Divine Sword Supreme. All mid-grade reincarnation level longswords within the line of sight are under your control, up to 100,000 longswords can be controlled. At the same time, it can be turned into a killing formation, crushing all enemies in the encirclement, consumes 1 compressed crazy point per use. The price is 100 compressed sin point. His current net worth is quite amazing. There is no pressure to buy Divine Sword Supreme Set again. Equip. Clang. A set of sword armor was put on his body. There are countless golden fragments inlaid on his body. It looks like there are countless divine swords branded on his body. Each has a bit of a spiritual aura, as if they can be unsheathed from his body at any time. His aura immediately underwent a tremendous change. An aura of supremacy spread out into the surroundings. Especially the control power, he can control everything around him. Rise. Yi Qianyun raised his hand, whether it is the swords in the storage ring or the divine swords in the city, they all flew up under his control. Even if they have an owner, he snatched them away. There are 100,000 divine swords floating around his body. The lowest grade is low-grade reincarnation level. Originally, the evil spirit celestial realm is relatively rich. No matter how bad they still have reincarnation level weapons. After all, they usually plunder so crazily. If they don't even have these resources, then they are not the evil spirit race. Following that, he launched a series of ferocious attacks at the city. His attacks transformed into a dense rain of swords that pierced downwards in a frenzy. Everywhere they passed by, blood rained down. At the same time, he released his doppelgangers and began to search for resources in the surroundings. At the same time, he collected the living creature rings on their bodies. They wouldn't release their slaves, but that didn't mean they wouldn't carry them with them. Therefore, they had to plunder their living rings, as well as their resources. Soon, the city was completely destroyed under his madness. It was not a legend that a single person could destroy a city. As long as he had enough strength, he could easily destroy it in a short period of time. If Yi Qianyun unleashed his full power, he could easily destroy a city. Now, it looked like a scene of desolation. The inner core had been taken away by him, directly causing the city to become a wasteland. Without a core, the planet was basically useless. With the Divine Sword Supreme Set, destroying a city is a piece of cake. Yi Qianyun's heart was filled with fanaticism. A brand new suit was indeed different, especially the Supreme Sword God suit. It was simply a godly weapon for group attacks. As long as he had the Supreme Sword God suit, slaughtering a city would not be a problem at all, and he could guarantee that no one could escape from his sight. There were many divine swords inside and outside. Killing the evil spirit race was as easy as cutting melons and vegetables. Coupled with the evil spirit race killer title, its power was simply amazing. After cleaning up, Yi Qianyun went to the next city. He did not stop and did not rest for a moment. After all, he didn't know if there would be a very strong existence coming to kill him, so he tried to destroy all the cities that he could destroy before the strong attack. In this way, even if he was forced to retreat by the strong, at least he could interfere with them. In the next moment, his figure flashed and disappeared in place. In the blink of an eye, he appeared above another city. This is the charm of the teleportation god stone. He had already set his position here before, so he didn't need to travel back and forth. He could easily fly above the city. A long time ago, he used the identity of the evil spirit puppet to set his position in most cities. Although it consumed a lot of teleportation godstone, it was very worth it. As long as a large number of evil spirit race is destroyed, this crazy point is not a problem at all. Moreover, killing an Earthlord is enough to buy a few of them. Even a dozen of them are not a problem. 100 times crazy point doubling card is not a joke. Kill. Yi Qianyun didn't hesitate and immediately controlled the 100,000 reincarnation divine swords to kill the evil spirit race in the city. The evil spirit race in the city didn't feel the danger at all. Boom. Boom. 10,000 swords bombarded down, and the guards outside were instantly killed. They didn't even have time to report. As Yi Tianyun swept all the way down, the whole sky was covered by thousands of swords, making the already dark sky even darker and more terrible, as if everything was covered by the swords. What is going on? They didn't understand what was going on. A white light passed through their bodies, and the next moment, their consciousness disappeared completely. The frenzied massacre continued. In just the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the entire city had been destroyed. The only thing that takes more time is for Yi Tianyun to collect the living creature ring and the like. It takes more time than killing them. Yi Tianyun checked a little. There are a lot of slaves in the living creature ring. According to their different hobbies, there are different slaves. For example, beautiful male slaves, or beautiful female slaves, and other major races. Some were even tortured to the point that it was too horrible to look at, and some were severely injured. Every single one of them was extremely miserable. This situation is not unexpected. All of them are released, and there is a large number of cultivators. There is no lack of geniuses among them. After being captured as slaves, they can only be reduced to playthings. Clean up. Next city. Yi Tianyun's figure flashed again, and disappeared in place. The city left behind has become a dead city. The air is filled with a disgusting smell of blood. You have to pay for what you have done. At the same time, in other cities, they have received emergency signals. The elders who were searching were alarmed, especially when they found out that the cities had been destroyed one by one. They were all stunned. What is going on? Who is this person? How can he kill in our evil spirit celestial realm? Elder Tesso was furious. Go back and kill that guy. 2 cities. 2 whole cities are gone, and he is still attacking the 3rd city. Chapter 1274. In the blink of an eye, 2 cities were gone, and the latest news was that they were attacking the 3rd city. This drove them crazy. By the time they received the news, they had already attacked the 3rd city. It was still all right at the start, but who knew that 2 of them had already been destroyed? Hurry, hurry, hurry. They're attacking Xieluo City right now. Let's hurry over to support them and stop the invaders. Elder Tai Suo raised his speed to the maximum and immediately flew towards Xieluo City. The other elders also stopped searching. After receiving the news, they also started flying towards Xieluo City at high speed. They didn't have any teleportation godstones, so they could only fly over or use the teleportation formation to teleport to the nearest place. Even if they tore through space and teleported there, it would take some time. It was far less convenient than using a teleportation array. God Monarch cultivation was not truly invincible. Teleporting over was just a small distance, but it was still quite a distance. However, from the information they received, the distance was too far. Teleportation was impossible, so they could only fly or use the teleportation formation. Soon, they arrived at the nearest city and were about to use the teleportation formation. However, the communication jade pendant soon sent them the latest news. The 3rd city has been destroyed. Intruder, whereabouts unknown. The latest news shocked them all. The 3rd city had fallen so quickly. Now that they still didn't know where they were, it meant that it was useless for them to go there. The 3rd city was destroyed so quickly. Is this the Sky Sovereign? Their expressions were ugly. They knew very well how many evil spirit races there were in a city. If they were the ones to destroy it, they wouldn't be slow, but they definitely wouldn't be able to destroy it so quickly. However, they received news that the invader was only the Lord of Heaven, which made them unable to believe it. It was highly possible that he had used some sort of concealment artifact to prevent them from detecting the strength of his cultivation. Or perhaps, the difference between the 2 of them was simply too great, so they could only detect a portion of his cultivation. It shouldn't be an Empyrean. We have never provoked an Empyrean force. How could it not be an Empyrean? I heard that it's even a human race Empyrean. Could it be that a human race Empyrean has come to take revenge on us? Their faces were terrifyingly gloomy. The human race was extremely widespread. Even if they wanted to kill the human race's Empyreans wouldn't be so crazy, right? No matter what, their 3rd city had already been destroyed, and not a single person could be seen. They had no idea where they were at all. Intruders have appeared in the evil Cauldron City. The latest battle report was immediately sent over. making them shudder. They were stunned when they heard the news. There was a huge gap between the evil Tripod City and Cielo City. If they were closer, they would have to cross half of the evil spirit celestial territory. In such a short period of time, they had already traversed such a great distance, which drove them crazy. What's going on? Why did he appear in the evil Tripod City? Could it be that there was more than one intruder? Or does he have some kind of teleportation artifact that allows him to quickly travel through space? The faces of Elder Tesso and the others became more and more unsightly. Even if they rushed over now, it would be too late. They needed to pass through several teleportation arrays to get close to the evil Tripod City. Judging from the speed at which they were eliminated, the battle was probably over before they arrived. We can only ask for the Domain Lord's permission. Otherwise, we won't be able to suppress them at all. Elder Tesso immediately made up his mind, and that was to ask the Domain Lord for help. This is the only way. The other elders nodded with difficulty. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't let the Territorial Lord come out, but now it seemed that they could only ask the Territorial Lord to come out. Then, they each took out a special jade pendant and crushed it in one go. Several special jade pendants were crushed in succession. This was the only way to get the Domain Lord to come out. The shattering of so many special jade pendants meant that something extremely urgent had happened. Even several elders had crushed their jade pendants, which meant that the situation was very urgent. The Domain Lord was definitely going to come out. At the same time, in the depths of the evil spirit celestial realm, in a special space, a powerful existence slowly woke up from his cultivation. This powerful existence was the Domain Lord of the evil spirit celestial realm. No one knew what his real name was, so they would usually just call him the evil spirit celestial realm lord. He woke up from his cultivation, feeling very unhappy. How could he, who had been in seclusion, feel happy when he woke up? Several elders crushed their jade pendants. What urgent matter happened? The evil spirit celestial realm lord stood up, and 4 pitch-black wings appeared on his back. They spread out behind him, and evil power was released in all directions. In front of him was an incomparably huge core. In terms of grade, it far surpassed the other dark cores. The two were not on the same level. It was at least 4th grade, and it was definitely extremely precious. Only the evil spirit celestial realm lord could enjoy something of this level. Then, he received detailed information. He frowned. What's going on? A human invader with heavenly venerable level power? After reading it carefully, his eyes were filled with killing intent. Oh, I don't know if he's a heavenly venerable. He actually dares to make a move in my territory. Alright, if he's a heavenly venerable, he can replenish my energy as the price for waking me up. Then, he raised his hand in the void. The space distorted, and he came out of this special space. After coming out, he stood in the void. Other than the 4 wings on his back, which were very eye-catching, there was also this perfect body. His body was smooth and translucent, shining like a black pearl. He looked very beautiful, much more beautiful than the other evil spirits. They were not on the same level at all. Most importantly, he had an even more terrifying power, and the surrounding space was distorted because of him. He slowly closed his eyes, and his entire body merged into the void. His terrifying spiritual sense spread out in all directions. Soon, his spiritual sense covered one area after another, and he swept past one city after another. After probing for a while, he opened his eyes and said calmly, I found him. He can actually control so many divine swords. I've never seen a martial art before. No wonder he was able to destroy so many cities in my divine realm. It turns out that he relied on this special power. But something's wrong. Why is the power that the Lord of Heaven's cultivation base erupts with is similar to that of a divine lord? He didn't think too much about it. He stretched out his hand and pulled forward, tearing a huge space in the void. After that, he lifted his foot and stomped on the ground, disappearing on the spot. In the next second, he appeared in the sky above the city where Yi Tianyun was. He gently raised his hand, and a terrifying power suppressed down, enveloping the area. Yi Tianyun, who was crazily killing the evil spirit race, suddenly raised his head. When he felt this terrifying power, his pupils constricted. Heavenly Venerable. The evil spirit region lord that descended above him was a heavenly venerable. Chapter 1275. Heavenly Venerable. Yi Tianyun was not particularly surprised when he sensed such a terrifying aura. A third-grade god realm would not have a single heavenly venerable, or more than two. One of the conditions to become a third-grade god realm was to be a heavenly venerable. If one did not even have a heavenly venerable, they would not be qualified to support a third-grade god realm. Heavenly venerable was a representative term, a necessary condition for a third-grade god realm. This was just like how a second-grade god realm must have a divine lord, and there must be a lot of them. Only then could one aspire to become a second-grade god realm. Forces of different grades needed to reach a corresponding value to become a corresponding force. Of course, if one did not have anything, they could also enter a second-grade or third-grade god realm force. It was just that they would be easily conquered. Once they were found out that the other party had too few powerhouses, they would be attacked immediately. Therefore, it was not that these standards were too strict, but that the surrounding environment was the same. Without the corresponding powerhouses, they would definitely fall. Yi Tianyun looked up, and his eyes narrowed. Detailed data immediately appeared in front of him. Evil Spirit Territory Lord, mid-level lower heavenly venerable cultivation, has extremely terrifying dark elemental power, body is a dark sage body, and has extremely strong recovery ability, extremely strong defense. Wears a superior grade heavenly Dao armor that clings tightly to the body. The wings on the back can be turned into terrifying weapons. Weakness, light elemental attack. Overall attribute judged as extremely dangerous, preliminary combat power calculated to be 330 million star power, basic state. 330 million points of star power. Yi Tianyun took a deep breath. This is too scary, it's much higher than his current full power. However, this was not unexpected. If even a heavenly venerable was not that strong, then he would be disappointed. You're the invader? The evil spirit territory lord looked at him with a calm expression, as if everything was under his control. The moment he appeared, he had already taken control of this place. Not a single place was able to escape, as he had sealed them all. The power of a heavenly venerable could easily suppress all directions with a snap of his fingers. Now, he did not intend to suppress Yi Tianyun, but came out to talk to Yi Tianyun first. That's right. You must be the evil spirit region lord, right? Yi Tianyun sized up the evil spirit region lord. As expected of the region lord of the evil spirit divine realm, he had an even more perfect body. It was hard to tell that he was from the evil spirit race. This was a perfect body, but it wasn't burly at all. Instead, it was more like the petite body of a human. They compressed their bodies to become smaller and smaller, which made it easier for them to move, and also allowed them to unleash more power. It could be said that it was an extremely perfect existence in all aspects. Fortunately, it could only be seen from the evil spirit region lord. It was clear that only when he broke through to the Empyrean level would he have the ability to completely change himself. The other evil spirit races were all tall and sturdy, and they looked disgusting. The evil spirit region lord could be described as handsome. Apart from the fact that his body was still pitch black, there was nothing wrong with him. It looked very beautiful, like a black gem. Moreover, it was the kind that was black and shiny. I don't know what martial art this is, but it looks pretty good. The evil spirit region lord looked at the flying swords that filled the sky and grabbed at the void. An extremely compressed force slapped over, and the divine swords in the void were immediately grabbed. The divine swords that were originally controlled by Yi Tianyun were all grabbed, leaving Yi Tianyun no chance to control them at all. This power was too domineering, so domineering that it made one's scalp go numb. There were so many divine swords, yet he grabbed them just like that. Yi Tianyun narrowed his eyes and said indifferently, "Are you interested in this kind of martial art?" "I'm a little interested. If you hand over all your martial arts, maybe I'll leave your corpse intact, and I won't let you die so painfully." The evil spirit region lord's expression was indifferent, as if nothing could arouse his interest, even in the face of such a special martial art like Yi Tianyun's. He didn't force it. If he used soul search by force, He might not be able to find anything. It seems that all of you are so stupid when negotiating. Spare my life, that's easier to negotiate. If I give you all my martial arts, I can only leave my corpse intact. Yi Tianyun shook his head. That's right. If you don't give it to me, I think you'll live a life worse than death, and it will last for a very long time, the evil spirit region lord said indifferently. Yi Tianyun believed his words. It could definitely make him live a life worse than death, and it would last for a very long time. Until then, his mind would definitely be on the verge of collapse. Too naive. Do you think that's all I have? Do you think that your seal can trap me here? Yi Tianyun looked around. This seal was indeed terrifying, much more powerful than Elder Tesso's seal from before. Even after upgrading his instant transmission, he probably wouldn't be able to pass through this terrifying seal. Unless he continued to upgrade it, he wouldn't be able to pass through this seal. Or if his cultivation had improved, he would be able to teleport out. It seems that you're quite confident. The evil spirit region lord gently raised his hand and pressed forward. The void around Yi Tianyun immediately became solid, as if it had turned into a thick wall, trapping him inside and making it difficult for him to escape. Yi Tianyun could clearly feel that the power of the heavenly law around him had been flattened, and at the same time, replaced by the power of a heavenly venerate, and it was the power of a heavenly venerate unique to the evil spirit region lord. Under this special power of a heavenly venerate, any treasure would lose its effect and be unable to escape. Unless one had an even more heaven-defying treasure or a stronger cultivation, there was no way to escape. I'm just that confident. Yi Tianyun grinned, and in the next second, he disappeared from where he was. Everything disappeared without a trace. This scene stunned the evil spirit region lord. He never thought that Yi Tianyun would really be able to escape right under his nose, and he couldn't even tell what kind of treasure it was. Yi Tianyun had escaped from this place in an instant. What's going on? What kind of treasure is this, or some kind of martial arts? The expression on the evil spirit region lord's face finally changed. His previous expression of having everything under his control had now turned into a bit of anger. A junior had escaped from under his nose just like that. How could he not be angry? Following that, he quickly spread out his spiritual senses, covering the entire area, wanting to see where exactly Yi Tianyun had escaped to. However, no matter how he probed, he couldn't find Yi Tianyun nearby. Logically speaking, this kind of escape would at most be escaping from the seal, and he wouldn't have escaped very far. However, when he carefully probed, he still couldn't find Yi Tianyun. Where is he hiding? The evil spirit region lord was a little annoyed. Yi Tianyun had escaped right under his nose, and he didn't know where he had escaped to. This was his territory, and Yi Tianyun had escaped in his own territory. It was simply a disgrace to him. Lord, that invader is wreaking havoc in Sierien City. Chapter 1276. Yi Tianyun directly used the teleportation godstone to escape and teleported to Evil Grace City. He won't run away so quickly, but he will continue to destroy the Evil Grace City. How can he just leave like this? He hasn't earned enough here yet. This teleportation godstone is amazing, even if it's a heavenly master's seal, I can still escape. Yi Tianyun felt that this teleportation godstone is very magical. If he can't escape, he will definitely not continue to play in the vicinity, he will teleport out and immediately escape. He will not joke around with his life. If he dies, he will have to pay a price. Of course, the price that he felt before is not so exaggerated now. The value of a life is only 100 million crazy points, which is converted to 10 compressed crazy points. It's really a good deal. He is not afraid of death, but he is afraid of being caught. He can't escape. They won't kill him. They will only abuse him. Therefore, many lives were useless. He did not think that anyone would come to save him, unless some Empyrean Supreme being felt that the evil spirit race was disgusting and came to suppress the evil spirit race. Only then would he be able to escape. Kill, kill, kill. Yi Tianyun continued to control the 100,000 divine swords, sweeping around, madly slaughtering all the evil spirit race's life. But he didn't slaughter for long. There was a fluctuation in the void, and the next second, evil spirit territory lord came from the void. What a strong teleportation! Yi Tianyun's eyes shrank. Although he knew that Evil Spirit Territory Lord teleported here, he thought that it was nearby. He didn't expect it to be like the teleportation Godstone. In a blink of an eye, it crossed more than half of the Evil Spirit Divine Realm and chased him here. Where do you think you are going? Evil Spirit Territory Lord's cold voice came from the sky, and a more terrible seal came from the sky, sealing the place. Escape to a place you can't find. Yi Tianyun smiled and immediately disappeared in place. He did not stop to confront Evil Spirit Territory Lord. He wants to play a trick on a heavenly master. Even if it's a heavenly master, isn't he still being played by him? Damn it, I can't even seal him like this, and he can still escape. The Evil Spirit Domain Lord was infuriated. He felt that Yi Tianyun had some kind of treasure that allowed him to escape from his grasp so easily. It was too embarrassing. Immediately after, he quickly searched his surroundings, trying to find out where Yi Tianyun was. As he continued to spread to other areas, the communication Jade Pendant sent him another message. Your Excellency, the invaders have appeared in Xiepe City. What's going on? Another border city. The Evil Spirit Region Lord was about to explode with anger. Logically speaking, Yi Tianyun should not have escaped too far away, but in the blink of an eye, he had disappeared, and even appeared in a border city. He, who was originally calm and confident, was about to go crazy. He was a dignified celestial master, yet he had been so ruthlessly toyed with. Moreover, it seemed that his cultivation was only at the Lord of Heaven. The Lord of Heaven was teasing him and destroying his city. In fact, he did not care at all about how his subordinates had died. The main point was that such invaders had played tricks on him again and again, breaking out of his control. In the next moment, the Evil Spirit Domain Lord continued to tear open space and teleport toward Xiepe City. He had been completely infuriated by Yi Tianyun, so naturally, he would completely erupt. In Xiepe City, Yi Tianyun was also slaughtering wantonly, killing as many evil spirits as possible in the shortest time possible. However, before he could annihilate many, there was another fluctuation in the void, and soon, the Evil Spirit Domain Lord charged out. He raised his hand in the void, and an even more terrifying seal came crashing down. He ruthlessly sealed this place, layer after layer of seals, and a huge pair of wings appeared behind him, as if covering the sky. Everything became so dark, as if it was shrouded in thick dark clouds. The terrifying sealing power far exceeded the power that had erupted before. At the same time, the Evil Spirit Domain Lord also threw a black ball, which bloomed with black light in the air and enveloped this area. When Yi Tianyun looked up, his pupils constricted, and detailed data appeared in front of him. Forbidden black screen, Heavenly Venerate Spirit Treasure. A special spirit treasure owned by a Heavenly Venerate. Only a Heavenly Venerate can exert its effects. The Forbidden Black Screen can form an extremely powerful array that can trap enemies and protect oneself. At the same time, it can weaken the trapped enemies, and the suppression effects vary according to the cultivation level of the trapped enemies. Heavenly Venerate Spirit Treasure. Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed. Heavenly Venerate Spirit Treasures were even more powerful than Heavenly Dao Treasures. This was a treasure unique to Heavenly Venerate Sea Dawn. Even if it was given to them, they would not be able to use it. When the Forbidden Black Screen was thrown out, he immediately felt that he was surrounded by a thick wall. More importantly, a sealing power immediately pressed down. This made him feel that his strength had been greatly weakened, and his surging Heavenly Dao power was immediately cut in half. This meant that even if he had the cultivation level of the Lord of Heaven at the third level, his cultivation level would probably be less than the strength of the Lord of Heaven at the first level. And this was based on the fact that Yi Tianyun had special powers, which was why this was weakened. If he did not have the Heavenly Dao power of the 10 refinements Earthlord level, the suppression effect would be even greater. In this Forbidden Black Screen, the Evil Spirit Region Lord had an absolute advantage and could be said to be an invincible existence. What powerful strength! Is this a higher realm? Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed, but he did not panic. Instead, he immediately used the teleportation Godstone. This time, the effect immediately failed, and there was no movement at all. This meant that the blockade brought about by the Forbidden Black Screen had exceeded the scope of the teleportation Godstone's escape. Upgrade. Ding. Experience points deducted, successfully upgraded to the Lord of Heaven 5th level. Upgrade again. Ding. Experience points deducted, successfully upgraded to the Lord of Heaven 6th level. Upgrade again. Successfully upgraded to the Lord of Heaven 7th level. All of a sudden, all the experience points were thrown out. He had destroyed 3 cities, and the rest of the cities had been destroyed. Coupled with the 5 to 600 times experience card, it was not a problem for him to upgrade 4 levels in a row. After upgrading to the Lord of Heaven 7th level, the pressure around him instantly decreased a lot, and the weakening effect was cut from the previous half to about 20%. However, the suppression effect was only one of the aspects of the forbidden black screen. The real effect was that it could completely seal off the enemy, making it impossible for the enemy to escape. As for the other effects, only when the evil spirit region lord used them would he know how strong they were. I broke through 3 levels in a row to be able to suppress it a little. This Empyrean spiritual treasure is really strong. Yi Tianyun felt his scalp tingle. As expected of a Empyrean powerhouse. The battle had not even started, and he was already a level weaker. However, thinking about it carefully, the battle power of 330 million was enough to shock people. Chapter 1277. Why, you're not running this time? The evil spirit territory lord was not in a hurry to attack. Instead, he wanted to see if Yi Tianyun could still escape. What he could not accept the most was that he had always been able to escape from his hands, which made him feel very humiliated. Now that he had even used the Empyrean spirit treasure to boo black screen, he wanted to see how Yi Tianyun could still be arrogant and escape. Using an Empyrean spirit treasure to deal with me, this is really my honor. Yi Tianyun smiled slightly and said, under the suppression of the Empyrean spirit treasure, I still have no way to escape. Is that so? I'm very interested in your ability now. What treasure did you use to escape from my seal? The evil spirit territory lord slowly flew down from the void. He was not in a hurry at all. After using the Empyrean spirit treasure, everything was in his hands again. He, who was full of confidence, was not in a hurry at all. The key was that Yi Tianyun had many special escape methods, which made him very interested. It might be some special treasure. If it wasn't for that, he would have directly imprisoned them and taken them away. Now, he wanted to see if Yi Tianyun could still escape. If he could escape, it meant that he still needed stronger power, or Yi Tianyun had some background. If you hand it all over, I will let you live for a while longer and give you treasures so that you can make some arrangements after your death. The evil spirit territory lord's words were really generous. As long as he handed over everything, he would live for a while longer, but in the end, he would still die. Yi Tianyun had already touched his bottom line. He would not let him off no matter what and must be killed. Now that he had completely sealed off the escape area, he had the right to negotiate. He would either be tortured to death or obediently compromise and die very peacefully. This condition is really tempting, but I can hand it over. I wonder if I can make an additional request. Yi Tianyun smiled faintly and said, as long as you agree to this request of mine, forget about martial arts, all the treasures will be given to you. What request? Why don't you tell me? The evil spirit region lord raised his eyebrows and looked at him with more interest. He had locked onto the surrounding ripples. He wanted to see if Yi Tianyun still had a chance to escape. It's very simple, all of your evil spirit race has been exterminated by you, leaving you behind. This is my request. Is it merciful enough? At least you survived. Yi Tianyun said with a grin. You tricked me. The evil spirit domain lord was furious in his heart. He stretched out his hand to grab Yi Tianyun, wanting to control him. At this moment, the power in Yi Tianyun's body burst out, exploding to the extreme. Divine Dragon Bloodline, activate. Phoenix Bloodline, open. Heaven-shaking godly art, open. Crazy damage mode, activate. Vast godly art, open. All of his power burst out and gathered in the starry divine spear in his hand. At the same time, the divine runes on the surface of the starry divine spear were fully released under the infusion of his power, reaching a brand new limit. His combat power soared in a straight line, and it suddenly jumped to 177 million star power point. This was already his current limit. After the eruption, the surrounding space was constantly being slapped, trying to break this forbidden black curtain. However, 170 million battle power was really unable to break the power of a heavenly venerable. Boom! When the two came into contact, the violent force on the palm of the evil spirit domain lord constantly bombarded his palm. However, it was firmly locked in this forbidden black curtain. Even an attack of hundreds of millions of battle power was fiercely compressed in an area. This battle power is no longer something that the Lord of Heaven can display. Only those above the Divine Lord level 8 or 9 can display it. The evil spirit domain lord's face darkened. He didn't expect Yi Tianyun to be able to burst out such a terrifying power. If his cultivation wasn't a little higher, he would have been killed immediately. Then, he squeezed hard, and the attack that Yi Tianyun erupted was directly crushed, turning into a pile of energy light spots that drifted in the air. Such a violent attack was easily crushed, just like how Yi Tianyun killed the other heavenly monarchs and divine monarchs before. It was easy to kill them with a single spear strike, without any difficulty. The greater the gap, the more useless the other party's attack. It was the same principle now. The overbearing power of a heavenly venerable had the power to suppress. In addition, the gap between the two was too big. The evil spirit domain lord didn't need to fully erupt. He only needed to resist very simply to destroy Yi Tianyun's attack. After crushing the attack, he grabbed the spearhead of the starry divine spear at the same time, firmly grasping it. No matter how Yi Tianyun swung it, he couldn't pull it out. As expected of the power of a heavenly venerable. The gap still can't be bridged. Yi Tianyun didn't expect this. He originally wanted to try to see if he could withstand an attack. Now, it seemed that even one attack would be enough, and it would be difficult to break it. You dare to be arrogant in front of me with just this bit of power? Come over. The evil spirit domain lord suddenly pulled out the starry divine spear, and Yi Tianyun was dragged over uncontrollably. At this time, Yi Tianyun's eyes didn't have the slightest panic and were still so firm. Exchange the evil Lord of Heaven set. Successfully deducted 100 compressed sin points, exchanged for the evil Lord of Heaven set. Equip the evil Lord of Heaven set. Evil Lord of Heaven set. After wearing, you can transform into the evil Lord of Heaven at any time, all power increased by 800 times, defense increased by 500 times, speed increased by 100 times. When entering the evil Lord of Heaven mode, all attacks become long-range attacks, can attack anything in the sight range, and have burning and explosion effects, absolute critical hit effect, double critical hit damage, consumes 1 compressed crazy point per minute. In an instant, he put on the evil Lord of Heaven set, and an extremely evil aura immediately released from his body. At the same time, his body was covered with a thin layer of dark armor, and at the same time, there is a faint white light, like a silver moon in the dark night sky. Transform into the evil Lord of Heaven. Yi Tianyun's body immediately began to change. It doesn't even take half a second, even less than half a second. It can be said that it only takes a few tenths of a second. Immediately turned into the evil Lord of Heaven. In addition to the dark body, there are also 2 wings on the back, spread out in an instant. The power instantly increased by 800 times. Under the violent power, Yi Tianyun was thrown to the side. The sudden surge caught the evil spirit territory lord off guard, and he was immediately thrown out by Yi Tianyun, and hit his own taboo black curtain, making a bang sound of a violent collision. Chapter 1278. After Yi Tianyun transformed into the evil Lord of Heaven, his power skyrocketed in an instant. With a sudden burst of power, he slammed the star god spear in his hand and threw the evil spirit territory lord out. The violent power frightened even the evil spirit territory lord. The main reason was that it was too much at once. He thought it would be the limit, who knew it could be improved. I was almost caught, but the test is almost over, it's time to leave. Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed, and instantly wanted to use instant transmission to escape, but he immediately felt a sense of powerlessness coming from all around. It means that instant transmission is also ineffective at this time. But he did not panic, and immediately upgraded instant transmission, without any pause. Upgrade instant transmission. Ding, successfully deducted 1000 compressed crazy point, successfully upgraded instant transmission to level 7. The next level requires 3000 compressed crazy point. Level 7 instant transmission, the effect is to penetrate stronger protective seals, and the teleportation range spreads to any range that can be explored by spiritual sen. This range suddenly changed. Before, he could teleport to any place within his line of sight. Now it is within the range that his spiritual sense can explore, he can teleport to any place. It had to be said that this change was extremely huge. It means that the range of his instant transmission has suddenly become very wide. And with the improvement of his cultivation, the range will become bigger. If he has the cultivation of an Empyrean, he can teleport anywhere in the God realm at will. Although the evil spirit territory lord can also do it, but it will take a few more tries to do it. The key is that he is the owner of this place, so he can teleport so far. If he is not the owner of this place, naturally he can't teleport so far. Even an Empyrean can't teleport here, they need to try again to teleport here. Empyrean is very strong, but it does not mean that they can be so invincible. But in the third grade God realm, they are indeed invincible. Even if he tried a few more times, he would only be able to traverse through space and kill his way over in a very short time. The speed is quite fast, and it takes less than a few minutes to teleport here. This is still across more than half of the God realm. If it were other divine monarchs, it would take several days or even weeks to reach their destination. However, most people wouldn't be so stupid. They would all use a complete teleportation array to come over. If they relied on flying alone, that would be too stupid. You dare to be arrogant in front of me with just this bit of strength? The evil spirit territory lord was completely enraged. He directly unleashed all his strength and grabbed at the void. The surrounding power pressed over, wanting to crush Yi Tianyun. This level of power had already exceeded the power that he had displayed previously. Even if Yi Tianyun had the evil Lord of Heaven set, he would still be unable to withstand a single blow. This was the reality of the gap in cultivation. Unless he upgraded the system crazily, there was no way he could block this attack, and it was only a draw. After all, the disparity between them was too great. The evil spirit region lord had only unleashed his early stage power and had yet to unleash his true power. He didn't trigger the power of his bloodline, nor did he detonate other powers. If he did, how could his battle power be limited to 330 million? Go! Yi Tianyun's figure flashed, and immediately disappeared, easily passing through the forbidden black screen, causing the evil spirit domain lord's attack to miss. What's going on? He escaped. The evil spirit domain lord was shocked again. He had even used an Empyrean spirit treasure, but he didn't expect the other party to still be able to escape. This was beyond his expectations. He immediately probed the surroundings, wanting to see where Yi Tianyun had escaped to. However, no matter how he probed, he couldn't find even half a trace of Yi Tianyun. Hurry up and search for me. Where did the intruder escape to? The evil spirit domain lord immediately sent out a message, asking the many elders to help investigate. He also didn't stay idle. He quickly spread his spiritual consciousness around, enveloping this divine realm. It was just that the speed was not fast, mainly because the evil spirit divine realm was too big, and it would take too long. Hence, he needed to spend some time. Lord, we didn't find anything here. We didn't find anything here either. We didn't find anything here either. One by one, they kept sending messages, indicating that there was no situation here, and no trace of anyone could be found. Bastard, could it be that he's hiding? The evil spirit domain lord angrily slapped the void, and a violent force blasted down. The city below was immediately smashed into pieces. The evil spirit race, who were originally rejoicing that they were still alive, turned into a pile of dust under this bombardment. Then, he continued to search. This was his territory, and he didn't allow any intruders to stay in his territory. Especially since he had used so many things, yet he had still been able to escape. The other party was still the Lord of Heaven, yet he had slipped away just like that. This humiliation was deeply engraved in his heart, and he felt extremely disgusted. While he was frantically searching, Yi Tianyun had already used the teleportation divine stone to escape the evil spirit divine realm and leave the divine realm outside. An Empyrean is too strong. I can't deal with him at all. If I want to deal with him, I'll probably have to be at the mid-stage Divine Lord or late stage. Yi Tianyun felt incomparable pressure. His original intention was to test the situation of the evil spirit divine realm. As expected, he immediately attracted the evil spirit domain lord. The violent power left a deep impression on him. He didn't dare to continue playing. If he was really completely imprisoned, even teleportation would be useless. When that time came, it would be over. Hence, it was better to stay outside for a while. When the evil spirit domain lord relaxed a little, he planned to go back and reap the harvest. However, before leaving, he still planned to return to the evil spirit divine realm. After taking out the evil spirit puppet, he immediately threw a bunch of materials into it and upgraded the evil spirit puppet. In an instant, his cultivation directly rushed to the peak of the Lord of Heaven level, and he was almost able to enter the Divine Lord level. However, he was not in a hurry to enter the Divine Lord level. Such a rapid improvement would definitely make people suspicious, so it was better to slow down a little. After all, this was already fast enough. Before leaving the evil spirit divine realm, he was only at the first or second level of the Lord of Heaven cultivation. Now that he had rushed to the peak level, it was already shocking enough. Let me see how the situation is now. Yi Tianyun immediately swaggered towards the evil spirit divine realm. When he arrived in front of the passage, the guards didn't ask much when they saw him. Instead, they bowed respectfully. Thinking about the wanton destruction just now, and now that he could casually enter, he wanted to laugh. With this evil spirit puppet, it's really not bad. I can easily sneak in. Chapter 1279. Everyone above the level of Lord of Heaven must gather back. Yi Tianyun didn't think too much about it and quickly flew to the corresponding city to gather according to the instructions in the token. The Gathering City is one of the main cities of the Evil Spirit Divine Realm, Evil Dragon City. There are many elders in the Evil Dragon City. Yi Tianyun wanted to attack this place at first, but he felt that it would easily attract the attention of the big shots, so he attacked the remote place first. Who would have thought that just after destroying a few cities, the other party immediately sent the Evil Spirit Divine Realm Lord? Obviously, they felt powerless and couldn't deal with him, so they could only bite the bullet and send the Evil Spirit Divine Realm Lord. Otherwise, if they fly to suppress Yi Tianyun one by one, it is estimated that the Evil Spirit Divine Realm Lord will be half gone. Evil Dragon City is worthy of being one of the main cities. There are more elites. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed. If this place falls, it is definitely equivalent to cutting off one of the arms of the Evil Spirit Divine Realm. There is no way to solve it now, because the Evil Spirit Divine Realm Lord is staying inside, so he can only be a little more obedient. It seems that it was not the elders who summoned the experts, but the Evil Spirit Divine Realm Lord. At the same time, he saw a lot of evil spirit race people gathered, and their cultivation is at the level of Lord of Heaven. Now that a large number of them gathered here, it makes him even more excited. If he can sweep them all in one go, he doesn't know how much EXP and crazy point he can get. However, the Evil Spirit Divine Realm Lord is here, he absolutely can't do anything. He is now sneaking in and listening to the news. Soon after he came down, when the evil spirit race people saw him, they all nodded to him. Because they have all seen Yi Tianyun and know that he is the god's son, they are naturally more respectful. After killing his way out of so many experts, how could he not be respected? It can be said that among the Lord of Heaven, his status is one of the best. Other than the divine monarch, his status can be regarded as the highest level. God's son, I heard that you didn't come back even when the elders summoned you. You are quite bold. Yes, such a big thing happened in the evil spirit divine realm. It seems that you really think of yourself as a god's son. You don't need to do anything. My great god's son, you are finally willing to come back. Aren't you going to stay outside for a while? What's the rush to come back? Apart from some people showing respect for him, there were also many who ridiculed him, and there were even some who took pleasure in his misfortune. They felt that Yi Tianyun was too arrogant and self-indulgent. When the divine spirits escaped, most of them were ordered to search for him. Yi Tianyun, on the other hand, left the evil spirit celestial domain. Yi Tianyun also knew that the elders were constantly sending him messages to summon him back or to search the area. But he didn't care at all. After all, He was busy at that time. How could he care about these things? As for how he was going to explain, he had already thought of an excuse, so there was no need to worry about it. Immediately, Yi Tianyun ignored them and lifted his foot to walk forward, but just as he walked to the front point, one of the elders came over and looked at him coldly. "You're finally willing to come back. As a divine son, you didn't even come back after being summoned. You better give us a reasonable explanation." As they had the medallion on them, they knew whether they would return or not. When Yi Tianyun put away the evil spirit puppet, the medallion was immediately isolated. He couldn't even receive any messages, let alone know that he had returned. Under the elder's questioning, the evil spirit race at the side revealed mocking gazes. "Let's see how Yi Tianyun will resolve this. Can you give me a reasonable explanation?" At this time, Elder Tesso came over from the side. His eyes were also filled with dissatisfaction. He felt that Yi Tianyun had left his job without permission. There were matters in the race, yet he was still unwilling to return. This was a huge matter, which was equivalent to disobeying his orders. Yi Tianyun did not explain anything. Instead, he directly emitted a powerful aura. The power of the peak of the Lord of Heaven swept out in all directions. The evil spirit race at the side was forced to take a few steps back. The powerful aura was unbearable for them. Peak level of the Lord of Heaven, the evil spirit race at the side was shocked. They had all heard that Yi Tianyun's cultivation was only at the second or third level of the Lord of Heaven. How could it be that in such a short period of time, he had already killed his way to the peak of the Lord of Heaven? The peak of the Lord of Heaven? Elder Tesso's eyes lit up. The dissatisfaction in his eyes immediately disappeared. "The reason you can't come back is because of your cultivation?" "Yes, this disciple was cultivating outside. I only wanted to raise my cultivation level, so I forgot about this order badge," Yi Tianyun said in a deep voice, "but a mistake is a mistake. This disciple is willing to accept any punishment." It wasn't just Elder Taiso, even the expressions of the elders beside him weren't as bad. It was not easy for them to break through their cultivation, so it was naturally a good thing to have more experts. They never thought that Yi Tianyun would break through so quickly. How could they not be happy? To be able to break through so many levels of cultivation in such a short period of time, you must have found some kind of fortuitous encounter, right? If that's the case, then it's understandable. Elder Tesso waved his hand and said with a faint smile, "Then I'll pardon you. Opportunities are not that easy to come by. This kind of special situation is still understandable." "Thank you, Elder Tesso, for your understanding." Yi Tianyun smiled indifferently. He knew that he would be forgiven like this. In this place, strength was respected. The faster his cultivation increased, the better. Moreover, this kind of collection work did not require him alone. It was just that if there was nothing else, he would definitely gather to help. A search at the level of the Lord of Heaven would definitely be much faster than an Earth Lord. The evil spirit race at the side all revealed jealous gazes. They had thought that they would see Yi Tianyun being punished or something, but now it seemed that nothing had happened to him at all. Instead, his status continued to rise. "It's about time. Lord Domain Lord is preparing to come over. All of you have been tired during this period of time. Lord Domain Lord has seen it." Elder Tesso gestured for them to stand properly. The evil spirit Domain Lord was about to arrive. After Elder Tesso made the arrangements, he flew to the seat on the high platform in front of him and waited for the arrival of the evil spirit Domain Lord. A moment later, the evil spirit Domain Lord descended from the sky. A group of elders immediately stood up and knelt on the ground, including the evil spirit race below. They all knelt down. Yi Tianyun could only kneel down and make a respectful appearance. "Greetings, Lord Domain Lord." A deafening roar resounded through the sky, expressing their respect. The evil spirit Domain Lord descended from the sky and sat steadily on his chair. His superior gaze swept across them and said indifferently, "All of you, get up." "Thank you, Lord Domain Lord." One by one, they stood up and looked at the evil spirit Domain Lord with reverence in their eyes. Such a powerful force would naturally obtain their respect. Chapter 1280. The evil spirit Domain Lord's gaze swept across the many evil spirit race people. It had been a long time since he had checked on the current situation. After a glance, he nodded slightly. He did not feel anything strange at all. Then, he said in a clear voice, "Recently, something that I cannot tolerate has happened, and that is an intruder." Not only did he capture the divine spirit race that we painstakingly captured, he also destroyed our city and killed many of our clansmen. This person's cultivation is not strong, but he possesses the strength of a divine lord. Ordinary divine lords are unable to resist him. However, he was still killed by me in the end. However, I don't know if he has any accomplices. Regarding this matter, I will send people to investigate the situation and thoroughly dig out the background of the intruder. As long as they invade our evil spirit divine realm, they must be punished by us. Let them know that our evil spirit race is not to be offended, and we will make them pay the price. Sanction, sanction, sanction. Pay the price. Pay the price. Pay the price. They all shouted loudly. They were infected by the evil spirit domain lord's words, causing them to become excited. They felt that their domain lord was an invincible existence. He had easily killed the invaders. After all, the invaders had destroyed several cities in a row, causing the people to be on tenterhooks. They were all worried that it would befall them and that they would not be able to resist it. Among the cities that had been destroyed, their overall strength was quite good. That was why they were worried that if they were to descend upon them, they would be easily destroyed without even having the chance to resist. Yi Tianyun, who was below, was stunned. He had been destroyed. However, after thinking about it carefully, he immediately laughed. This was a matter of face. The evil spirit domain lord couldn't possibly say that the intruder had escaped, right? He could only say that he had destroyed it. If he attacked again next time, he could just say that it was another intruder. This way, he could protect his face and increase his prestige. Why not? Even so, we still need to strengthen our defenses. Before we investigate clearly, all of you must guard the evil spirit divine realm. If there is any emergency, immediately inform the elders, and then the elders will inform me. During this period of time, you will have to work harder, but I will get the elders to give you rewards. Once everything is investigated, I will make them pay the price and reward you with everything they have seized. The evil spirit region lord's gaze was ice cold. He definitely had to investigate this matter thoroughly. It had caused him to lose all his face, so how could he not investigate it thoroughly? If he couldn't find out the truth, he definitely wouldn't let this matter rest. Thank you, Region Lord. One by one, the Lord of Heaven knelt down on the ground. Yi Tianyun pretended to kneel down, but he laughed coldly in his heart. Find out about his situation? What situation could he be in? Who could possibly know the situation of a master of the three realms? The human race was extremely vast, and it was impossible to kill them all. Their statuses were basically low, and there was no way to find out who they were. Even if they searched for a long time, they would not be able to find any clues. Huang Xiaolong guessed that Huang Xiaolong must have gone to look for grade 3 god realm or something. After all, the cultivation he had displayed so far required him to be at least a grade 3 god realm. Shortly after, the evil spirit region lord waved his hand, and many pill bottles fell into their hands. The portions were all the same. There was no difference. After throwing out a pile of elixirs, they quickly threw out a large number of weapons, which landed in their hands. When they received the weapons, they realized that they were all medium-grade reincarnation level weapons. Those with higher cultivations would receive high-grade reincarnation level weapons. Some of them even managed to obtain low-tier Heaven's Tao artifact. Some even got low-grade Heavenly Law level weapons. Among them, Yi Tianyun got a low-grade Heavenly Law level weapon. It could be said that he was quite generous. There were many Lord of Heaven present, at least tens of thousands of them. It was quite generous to throw out so many treasures at once. After receiving these treasures, the Lord of Heaven was very satisfied. The key was the latter half of the sentence. If they could find out where the invaders were from, they would get even more. So what if they worked a little harder? It was their honor to be able to work for the evil spirit region lord. After the excitement, they went back to their own matters and returned to their posts. Just as Yi Tianyun was about to leave, Elder Tesso sent him a voice transmission. Don't leave in a hurry, stay. Yi Tianyun stopped, and his heart sank. Is he going to ask about the goddess? Was it about Ji Shiralian? If he were to summon Ji Shiralian, she would really not be by his side. However, he did not run away. Instead, he calmly walked over and came in front of Elder Tesso. Elder Tesso, what's the matter? Yi Tianyun asked. Your breakthrough speed is not bad, and your previous achievements are also not bad. Let's meet the Lord first and ask him to give you some pointers, Elder Tesso said with a smile. Yi Tianyun breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out that he wanted the evil spirit region lord to give him pointers instead of summoning Ji Shiralian. Immediately, Elder Tesso brought him to the evil spirit region lord and knelt down together with him. Greetings, Lord. Yi Tianyun shouted. The evil spirit region lord carefully sized him up. After a moment, he nodded and said, not bad. It seems that you have a small opportunity. After consuming the dark spirit fruit and strengthening your body, your cultivation is quite good. Your overall situation is very good. As a candidate for the divine son, you are not bad. The evil spirit region lord did not exaggerate, but it was quite amazing that this evaluation came from a heavenly venerable. Thank you for your praise, Lord, Yi Tianyun said. This is your reward. The evil spirit region lord flicked his hand, and a ball of light fell into Yi Tianyun's head. To be exact, it fell into the head of the evil spirit puppet. Yi Tianyun immediately sensed that it was a middle-grade heavenly path martial art. It was a cultivation method specifically for the dark saint body, and it was quite suitable for his cultivation. Thank you, Lord. Yi Tianyun pretended to be extremely grateful and thanked him. Come and find me when your cultivation breaks through to the 5th level Divine Lord. At that time, I will make you my personal disciple, the evil spirit region lord said solemnly. Yi Tianyun immediately reacted and said gratefully, Thank you, Lord, for your nurturing. I will definitely live up to your expectations and make a breakthrough in my cultivation. Elder Tesso and the others' eyes lit up. It was rare to see the evil spirit region lord accept a personal disciple, which made them extremely envious. If he became a personal disciple, he would definitely become the next lord. However, Yi Tianyun smiled coldly. This was the result he wanted. He would sneak in as a spy and then kill them from the inside. Chapter 1281. After giving out the rewards, the evil spirit territory lord did not say anything else and gestured for Yi Tianyun to leave. Elder Tesso did not ask Yi Tianyun about Ji Shiralian. The evil spirit territory lord was the most powerful here, so he might as well talk to the evil spirit territory lord. After they all left, the evil spirit territory lord snorted coldly, his face as cold as frost. Where did this intruder come from? He actually had such an encirclement and was able to escape from my taboo black screen. The evil spirit territory lord had already spread a soundproof barrier around them. Other than the many elders, no one could hear what they were saying. The evil spirit territory lord did not hide the truth from the elders. This was a very serious matter, and he definitely had to discuss it with the elders. As for the other clansmen, he would definitely focus on appeasing them. The elders were the core, so it was normal to discuss it with them. According to the intelligence, the other party only has the cultivation of the Lord of Heaven. This reminds me of the human who saved the divine spirit race before. It's very likely that it's the same person. His ability to escape is top-notch, and he escaped from my seal in the blink of an eye. Elder Tesso recalled that time and was very suspicious that it was the same person. This time, he ran back and forth, and it was already over before he even saw a shadow. They were not like the evil spirit territory lord, who could travel such a long distance in one breath, so they could only use the teleportation array. The evil spirit territory lord was able to travel so far because he controlled the core power of the evil spirit divine realm. He was the master of the evil spirit divine realm, so how could he not be fast? If it was another divine realm, he would not be so perverted. If reinforcements came, Yi Tianyun would have destroyed a city long ago and gone to another city. The evil spirit territory lord raised his hand, and a phantom image appeared in the void. It was the scene of his battle with Yi Tianyun. The image showed Yi Tianyun's appearance very clearly. In fact, It was the evil spirit territory lord who displayed the memories in his mind for them to see clearly. It doesn't seem to be the same person. Elder Tesso shook his head, but after carefully sensing it, the aura is quite similar. Could it be the same person? It should be the same person, but they changed their appearance so that we can't find them. The evil spirit region lord said in a deep voice, "It seems that the person who came is still very prepared. It will be more difficult to find him. However, I will carefully investigate the background of the intruder according to this situation. To be able to escape from my hands, they are all below the Divine Lord level. It's very likely that they are relying on some treasure. Generally, those who could possess such a treasure were definitely very powerful Empyrean spirit treasures. But the Lord of Heaven can't use an Empyrean spirit treasure. There is only one possibility, and that is that his master or someone like that poured their own energy into his body to temporarily control it. Empyrean spirit treasures couldn't be used by those below the Empyrean realm. But this wasn't absolute. As long as an Empyrean poured the corresponding energy into their disciple's body, they would be able to use it. It wasn't possible to use it often, but it shouldn't be a problem to use it a few times. But if he did that, it would be too bold. If he was caught and the Empyrean spirit treasure was snatched away, that would make one's heart ache. If that's the case, isn't it a little risky? Elder Tesso said solemnly. Otherwise, what kind of treasure do you think can escape from my taboo black screen? Other than an Empyrean spirit treasure, I don't think there is any level of treasure that can escape from my hand. The evil spirit region lord said sternly. Indeed. If that's the case, this Empyrean is really generous. Elder Tesso said solemnly, or perhaps they have absolute confidence in being able to escape, so they let them do whatever they want. It's also possible that they obtained an Empyrean spirit treasure by chance. At the same time, they also obtained a portion of the energy that can provide them for a period of time. Another elder voiced his guess. That's also possible. The evil spirit region lord said solemnly, no matter what, let's start investigating the Empyrean of the rank 3 divine realm first. I want to see who is so arrogant as to dare come to our evil spirit divine realm to cause trouble. He fiercely slammed the stone table beside him, turning it into powder. Right. Invading our evil spirit divine realm, no matter what faction it is, we will pursue it to the end. Their eyes were filled with anger. Who dared to invade them? Even if they had to sacrifice their lives, they would kill their way out. Just as they were about to make their vows to investigate the invaders' forces, a message suddenly appeared in their communication pendants. Reporting to Elder, an invader has slaughtered Xieshu City. What? They immediately jumped up and hurriedly shouted to the evil spirit region lord, Lord, that invader is here again. Now, he has already begun to destroy Xieshu City. If we don't rescue him, the city will be destroyed soon. A slap in the face, a heavy slap in the face. They had just said that the invader had been killed, and now they were immediately slapped in the face. Moreover, it had come so quickly that they could not believe it. What's going on? I clearly investigated every detail and every corner, but I didn't find any traces of him. Why did he suddenly attack? Could it be that his concealment ability has already exceeded the range of my detection? The evil spirit region lord did not say anything else. He immediately broke through space and charged towards where Yi Tianyun was. Yi Tianyun had learned his lesson this time. He had not even destroyed half of it, and he immediately used the teleportation divine stone to teleport away. When the evil spirit region lord rushed over, he discovered that Yi Tianyun had already disappeared. He had no idea where he had escaped to. Damn it, he actually fled immediately this time. The evil spirit region lord was furious, completely furious. He had been thoroughly played, as if he had been ruthlessly toyed with. Lord, that invader has gone to another city to destroy, as expected, it's this guy. Arth. The evil spirit region lord was about to go crazy. He immediately continued to teleport out, wanting to kill Yi Tianyun. However, the result did not change. Yi Tianyun was very clever. He had already estimated the time it would take for the evil spirit region lord to teleport over. When he was ready, he immediately chose to escape. He had a lot of teleportation divine stones, so he was not afraid of the heartache at all. After exterminating a large number of evil spirit race, he would be able to earn it back immediately. He was not afraid of consumption at all. To him, this was a crazy harvest of experience, earning wave after wave of experience. It was really too much. If this continued, how difficult would it be to break through to the Divine Lord realm? The level of the Lord of Heaven allowed him to return to the era when his cultivation soared. All the previous restrictions could only be slowed down. Now it was different. There was no such thing as a heavenly tribulation. He just had to rush all the way. He escaped again, this guy. The evil spirit region lord was completely enraged. His eyes flickered with a pitch-black light. Looks like I can only be forced to use my killer move. If I don't suppress it, my forces will be destroyed. Chapter 1282. Yi Tianyun kept switching places back and forth, the distance was very far, and he even intercepted a bunch of Lord of Heaven. After killing a lot of them, he immediately chose to escape. Originally, he gathered them for a meeting, but now he earned a lot, he harvested hundreds and thousands of Lord of Heaven at once. That experience directly skyrocketed, causing him to grin from ear to ear. Continue to level up. Ding, congratulations to player Yi Tianyun, successfully broke through to the 8th layer of Lord of Heaven. Ding, congratulations to player Yi Tianyun, successfully broke through to the 9th layer of Lord of Heaven. Ding, congratulations to player Yi Tianyun, successfully broke through to the peak of Lord of Heaven. After killing a lot of Lord of Heaven and a lot of evil spirit race, he finally let himself accumulate enough experience to continuously level up, so that he rushed to the peak of Lord of Heaven in one go. This kind of speed is really amazing. If others were to find out that one's cultivation could leap like this, they would definitely be scared silly. Originally it was extremely difficult to level up, but here is the heaven of leveling up, as long as you kill all the way. At that time, the experience will be more and more, and you can easily level up. Ding, successfully accepted the special leveling task, breakthrough to a new realm. After condensing the 3rd planet, you can get 1000 crazy point, 500 compression proficiency, and get the title Supreme God Monarch. You don't need to complete it, directly breakthrough to God Monarch. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. There is such a breakthrough task, condensing the 3rd planet. Condensing the 3rd planet, and then get this title, I must do it. Yi Tianyun doesn't need to think about it, this kind of task must definitely be done. Not to mention the previous rewards, he is not unaware of the benefits brought by condensing the 3rd planet. Plus the title, he doesn't need to look at it, he knows that the effect brought by this title is definitely crushing. For example, how strong the suppression power can be when facing God Monarch. This kind of thing, how can he not do it? It is much better than any equipment. It's about time. Let's continue. Yi Tianyun's figure flashed and he disappeared. Soon, he arrived at another city and continued to suppress them. There were many cities in the evil spirit divine realm, and he had only destroyed a small portion of them. It would not be a problem for him to destroy the entire evil spirit celestial realm by himself. It would just take a little more time. The question was, would the evil spirit region lord be willing to let him continue killing them? He could only keep rushing back and forth, sweeping through everything in his path. As long as it wasn't an Empyrean, he wasn't afraid at all. Insolent Junior, come and die. At this time, 2 phantoms flashed in the void. Then, they stretched out their hands and an extremely thick sealing force immediately formed in the void. Immediately, a thick layer of sealing force was added to the inside and outside of the void. At the same time, another layer of forbidden darkness was added on the outside. 2 extremely violent suppressive forces pressed down from above, causing Yi Tianyun's scalp to go numb. 2 Empyreans. Yi Tianyun narrowed his eyes and looked up at the sky. Apart from the evil spirit region lord, there was also an equally handsome evil spirit beside him. It seemed that he was the previous evil spirit region lord. Both of them were Empyrean level, but the new one's cultivation had already reached the late-stage Empyrean level. He was 1 level stronger than the evil spirit region lord. With the 2 Empyreans joining forces, they directly suppressed him, broke through the void at an even faster speed, and then sealed him again. I didn't expect a junior to make me come out of seclusion. The previous evil spirit region lord looked at Yi Tianyun and shook his head, a hint of dissatisfaction in his eyes. Master, I can't seal him. Even if I use the forbidden darkness, I can't seal him. Therefore, I can only rely on your help. Otherwise, I won't be able to capture him. He has brought too many losses to our evil spirit celestial realm, so I can only ask you to come out of seclusion. The evil spirit region lord was very respectful. Forget it. I'd like to see if he can escape from 2 Empyrean spiritual treasures. Empyrean Fei Ti looked down coldly. At the same time, he quickly controlled a powerful force and pressed it toward Yi Tianyun, wanting to capture him alive. They didn't want to die. They just wanted to capture Yi Tianyun and search his soul fiercely to find out everything. They wanted to see who sent him here. He was actually so arrogant and dared to cause trouble in their faction. Facing the pressure of the 2 Empyrean spiritual treasures, Yi Tianyun immediately felt the pressure. Without any hesitation, he immediately used teleportation to escape. As expected, he discovered that teleportation was ineffective. He was firmly locked here, unable to escape. If he could still escape after being sealed by 2 Empyrean spiritual treasures, then he would really be too useless. Even though his cultivation had broken through, he couldn't successfully escape. His spiritual consciousness was completely sealed, unable to penetrate the seal of the Empyrean spiritual treasures. However, this had nothing to do with spiritual consciousness. Teleportation was still too low level. He needed a higher level to escape. Upgrade teleportation. Ding, successfully deducted 3000 crazy compression point, upgraded to 8th level teleportation, greatly enhanced the ability to penetrate the seal. The range of teleportation is 3 times the distance of spiritual consciousness exploration. The next level requires 8000 crazy compression point. He just finished upgrading it last time, and this time he needs to upgrade it again. But he also made a lot of money. He killed so many evil spirit race and got enough crazy point to fill this loophole. If he didn't have enough crazy point, he really wouldn't dare to mess around. If he was really caught, then he would be in big trouble. Go. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed, and in the next moment, he disappeared in the same place, completely escaped from their line of sight. Everything was so untraceable, not even half of his figure disappeared. The moment he escaped, the 2 Empyrean spiritual treasures compressed him, but the result was that they collided with each other, and nothing was sealed. He escaped. Empyrean Fei Ti frowned. He didn't expect that 2 Empyrean spiritual treasures, plus 2 Empyrean spiritual treasures, couldn't catch the Lord of Heaven. The evil spirit domain lord was even more furious. He can still escape. What's going on? Is it a middle Empyrean spiritual treasure, or an upper Empyrean spiritual treasure? Even under the seal of the 2 of us, he can still escape. The evil spirit domain lord was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Especially Empyrean Fei Ti, he just woke up from his seclusion, and the price was not small. Now they didn't catch him, and he escaped, and they lost so much, it made them so depressed that they want to vomit blood. Only a middle Empyrean spiritual treasure can escape from our seal. Empyrean Fei Ti said with a complicated look. Generally, Empyreans will not appear within the 3rd grade god domain, they will only stay in the 4th grade god domain. Could it be that he was sent by the 4th grade god domain to cause trouble? Chapter 1283. The escape of the intruder made them calm down quickly, and they began to think about whether it was the work of a rank 4 god realm. If it was really the work of a rank 4 god realm, they would not dare to pursue the matter. The power of a rank 4 god realm was beyond their imagination. They would be dead with just a slap. Although they also had a backer, if another rank 4 god realm targeted them, the higher-ups would not be able to take care of them. After all, who knew which rank 4 god realm it was? They would just play around and see what they could do. It shouldn't be a rank 4 god realm. If it was, would they play such tricks? Or would they send more people over? Maybe they provoked someone and kept coming to ambush us. Heavenly Venerable Fei Ti thought about it and shook his head in the end. He felt that it was unlikely to be a rank 4 god realm. A rank 4 god realm was too exaggerated. It was not something they could reach. But how did they escape from our 2 great seals? Without a mid-level Heavenly Venerable Spirit treasure or above, It's basically impossible to escape. The evil spirit territory lord shook his head, still finding it unbelievable. There are many unknowns in this world. Anyway, let's wait and see what changes there are. I won't go into seclusion for now and will stay outside for a while. With the two of us in charge, as long as there is a slight situation, we can immediately rush over to chase. We can't seal the two great spirit treasures, but we have other ways to seal them. Heavenly Venerable Fei T's eyes were cold. As Heavenly Venerables, it was impossible that they did not have other means. If that was all they had really underestimated them. Yes, I don't believe that we can't even capture a junior, the evil spirit territory lord said sternly. At the same time, in another corner, Yi Tianyun had already quickly changed into his evil spirit puppet state. He would not worry even if the evil spirit territory lord were to investigate. They did not expect that there would be such a puppet that could do this. The power of two heavenly venerables. Is this the power of the evil spirit territory? Yi Tianyun shook his head. Obviously, he could not continue to cause trouble. That heavenly venerable Fei Ti was too powerful, and the speed at which he intercepted was astonishing. He did not even feel anything, and the other party had already charged over. This meant that it seemed unlikely for him to run around and fool the evil spirit domain lord at the moment. The other party could easily intercept him, and then it would be his turn to escape. Since that was the case, he could only temporarily give up. Looks like I can only put it aside for now. I'll make further plans after my cultivation base has improved. Yi Tianyun flew out of the evil spirit celestial realm directly. This was the only way to prove that he had left the evil spirit celestial realm. If he suddenly disappeared, he would definitely be suspected. It was fine if he disappeared for a short period of time, but if he disappeared for too long, he would be suspected. Therefore, he had to leave this place first and fly outside. This was an extraordinary period, but the evil spirit divine realm would not stop all the evil spirit race from going out. They could not even go out and were trapped here. It was a little too harsh. After he left, the evil spirit race held a meeting at the same time. The main point was to discuss the power of the Fan Yu evil spirit race. The Fan Yu evil spirit race's forces had all been destroyed. How could these elders not be furious? Very soon, they sent people to encircle and annihilate them. However, this was not under Yi Tianyun's control. Everything was under Yu Ming's control. After leaving the evil spirit celestial realm, he immediately used the teleportation divine stone to return to the heavenly spring celestial realm. Back here, everything was so familiar, and there were not many changes. He had not been away for long, so there naturally could not be any major changes. After returning, he immediately rushed to the Domain Lord's celestial palace. Previously, the colored glazed Domain Lord had said that once he broke through to the Lord of Heaven's cultivation base, he could go and find her. She would bring Yi Tianyun to a place. Now that Yi Tianyun was about to break through to the Lord God level, it was a little late. I wonder where the colored glazed Domain Lord will bring me. Yi Tianyun did not know where the colored glazed Domain Lord wanted to bring him, but it would definitely not be a simple place. Previously, it was said that only the Lord of Heaven could go there, and that was the lowest standard. Just as he was about to go, he suddenly received a message on his token. Moreover, there were many messages at once. Elder Dong Yun wants me to go back. Yi Tianyun did not know what was going on, so he flew back to the God Creation Palace first. These communication tokens would only be effective when the distance was not very far. Since he had just returned, the messages that he had previously released naturally came flooding in. Shortly after, he returned to the God Creation Palace. Just as he returned, there were a few senior brothers standing guard outside. Among them, the Fire Lotus Lord of Heaven and the Imperial Dragon Lord of Heaven were standing guard outside. When they saw him return, they hurriedly walked over and said, "Little junior brother, you are finally back. Elder Dong Yun has been waiting for too long. What happened?" Yi Tianyun asked curiously. "It's a Grade 3 God realm. An emissary from a Grade 3 God realm is here and specifically said that he wants to recruit you as a disciple. Furthermore, he will give you extremely generous treatment and rewards." That's right. He mentioned so many rewards that I feel dizzy just listening to him. What heavenly Tao grade martial arts, all sorts of heavenly Tao grade treasures, and he will focus on nurturing you. I'm so envious. And it's not just one family, but a few grade 3 God realm emissaries. They have been waiting here for a long time. The two of them rattled off a bunch of information. In general, they were saying that a grade 3 God realm emissary had come to recruit him as a disciple and that he would receive extremely generous treatment. As expected, they still came. His name had spread throughout the heavenly spring God realm and even to the other God realms. Normally, grade 3 God realms that paid attention to the situation would immediately know that a genius had appeared and would naturally send an emissary down. No wonder they were so anxious. It turned out that a grade 3 God realm emissary had come. Is that so? Then let them wait a little longer. Yi Tianyun said with a smile and walked inside the building. It seemed like they did not know that the region Lord Glazed Glass had made him swear not to join any grade 3 God realm. He did not want to become cannon fodder. Even if his cultivation had increased, it would still be nothing when the war between the God realms began. A heavenly venerable would appear. He had seen the strength of a heavenly venerable before. It was too difficult to resist, and he would basically be crushed. Little junior brother, they sucked in a breath of cold air. They felt that Yi Tianyun was really domineering. That was a grade 3 God realm. If it were them, how could they refuse? They would immediately choose to join. The environment of a grade 3 God realm was far superior to that of a grade 2 God realm. It was better in every aspect. Then, Yi Tianyun lifted his foot and walked inside. As soon as he entered the main hall, he saw the 3 emissaries sitting at the side, sipping tea without any interaction. They were all here to snatch someone, which meant that they were enemies. How could there be any interaction? Chapter 1284. The moment Yi Tianyun walked in, their gazes landed on him. The 3 envoys all stood up and looked at him in shock. He broke through to the Lord of Heaven? They immediately sensed that Yi Tianyun's cultivation was no longer that of an earth monarch, but that of a Lord of Heaven. This shocked them even more. Breaking through to the Lord of Heaven in such a short time, especially when it was a 9 refinements earth monarch, shocked them even more. After all, it was extremely difficult for a 9 refinements earth monarch to break through to the Lord of Heaven. Without confidence, no one would dare to casually break through. However, they didn't know that Yi Tianyun's true situation was that he broke through to the 10 refinements earth monarch, which was even more tyrannical. Yes, I broke through to the Lord of Heaven. Yi Tianyun smiled and sized them up. The 3 envoys' cultivation was not high. They were all above the 4th or 5th layer of the Lord of Heaven. However, as envoys, their cultivation was not bad and did not need to be high. The important thing was the power behind them, not themselves. Even if they were only Star Lords, everyone would be extremely respectful to them. The power behind them was enough to make them respect them. Otherwise, they would not even know how they died. You're finally back. I don't know where you went. I couldn't contact you. When Elder Dongyun saw Yi Tianyun return, he immediately heaved a sigh of relief. I went out to train a little. Yi Tianyun smiled. He couldn't possibly say that he went to the evil spirit race for a stroll, right? No matter what, it's good that you're back. All 3 of them are envoys from the 3rd grade God realm, and they said that they want to recruit you as their disciple. It's up to you to decide how you want to do it, Elder Dongyun said confidently, as he didn't have the right to decide. Yi Tianyun turned his attention to them, and just when he was about to say something, one of them immediately spoke up. If you join our Flowing Moon God region, we'll give you a mid-grade Heavenly Tao martial art and other Heavenly Tao treasures. We'll also give you the best place to cultivate and increase our efforts to nurture you. At the same time, you will directly become an inner disciple of our grade 3 God domain, with the goal of nurturing you into an extremely powerful God monarch. One of them immediately saw through it and threw out their current conditions without hesitation. Especially the latter half of the sentence, it was much more important than any martial arts. The amount of resources needed to nurture a powerful God monarch was astonishing. The Heaven's Path martial art that Zhong Xian had mentioned earlier was just the beginning. Since they had just entered, they naturally had to first observe their performance before they would be given better things. Otherwise, it would be a little too exaggerated to immediately throw everything out. The flowing moon god realm, is this all you've got? If that's the case, you might as well join our gold god realm. Once you do, you'll be given high-tier Heaven's Dao martial arts, high-tier Heaven's Dao treasures, and cultivation grounds. We have great attainments in smithing, and we can definitely satisfy your needs in this aspect. As for later training, as long as you perform well enough, any resources won't be a problem. The other one immediately blurted out. The conditions he mentioned were even more tempting. They were definitely the best. The last emissary at the side had an indifferent expression, as if he didn't care about the conditions they had proposed. The conditions that our illusory gold god realm provides are very simple. We guarantee that you can reach late-stage god monarch cultivation and have hopes of becoming a heavenly venerable in the future. The contents of this emissary's words were not much. It was not as complicated as the other two's, which was just a simple sentence. However, the contents were even more exciting. They guaranteed that he could be nurtured to late-stage god monarch, and even have a chance of becoming a heavenly venerable. Heavenly venerable, a synonym for supreme. Anyone would be attracted immediately. When the other two emissaries heard this, they were instantly dumbfounded. This was not going according to the script at all. How were they supposed to play with such a contrast? This illusory gold god realm had already treated Yi Tianyun as a key target to nurture, guaranteeing that he could break through to late-stage god monarch cultivation. How could such conditions not be tempting? When the Fire Lotus Lord of Heaven and the others heard this, they were going crazy with envy. It was extremely difficult to break through to the god monarch level, let alone the heavenly venerable level. When one reached the god monarch level, even breaking through was difficult, and it required a huge amount of resources. Otherwise, there would be no improvement at all. They all looked at Yi Tianyun. This time, the main character was Yi Tianyun, and everything was up to him. After listening to their conditions, Elder Dongyun, who was at the side, was sure that Yi Tianyun would definitely choose the illusory gold god realm. The emissary of the illusory gold god realm did not say anything, but the contents were absolutely explosive. If it were him, he would be extremely tempted. Thank you for your invitation, but I don't want to join any third-grade god realm for the time being. I want to stay in the heavenly spring god realm. Yi Tianyun smiled slightly and rejected their invitation. What? This time, they were all shocked. The illusory gold god realm, which was originally full of confidence, was now dumbfounded. They had thrown out such tempting rewards, but he still rejected them like that. The Fire Lotus Lord of Heaven and the others widened their eyes. He rejected such generous conditions. Was his head kicked by a donkey? Yi Tianyun also felt extremely helpless. If it wasn't for the Colored Glaze Region Lord telling him not to join, he might really have joined. Even if it was a god realm battle, he was not afraid. Right now, his life-saving skills were top-notch. He was not afraid of a god realm battle at all. Instead, it could speed up his breakthrough. However, he would not go back on his promise to the Colored Glaze Region Lord. Staying in the heavenly spring god realm was still acceptable. This little brother, are you right? Did you not think carefully about the conditions of our illusory gold god realm? Or was it not detailed enough, or did other emissaries from other god realms offer more generous conditions? The emissary from the illusory gold god realm found it hard to accept. That's not true. Even if other god realms come, I will reject them all. I will definitely not join any third-grade god realm. I will always stay in the heavenly spring god realm. If one day you see me join a third-grade god realm, feel free to look for me, Yi Tianyun explained. This time, the three emissaries were speechless. They had already said this much. If they continued, it would be meaningless. Since that's the case, there's no other way. The three emissaries looked at them and snorted coldly. They waved their hands and left, not trying to persuade them to stay. They were third-grade god realms. They had sent people to recruit them, but they were rejected. If they did not want to join, then so be it. They would not force them. If they wanted to join again in the future, it would be difficult. They would not allow them to join even if they knelt on the ground. Even third-grade god realms had face. After rejecting them once, they would not invite them again. In the end, if they did not come, then there would be no more opportunities in the future. Come or not, it was up to them. After they left in anger, Elder East Cloud and the others came over and sighed. What are you doing? That's a third-grade god realm. Such a good opportunity was missed just like that. They were going crazy. Others had joined immediately, but Yi Tianyun had rejected them.